Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto x Dark Magician Girl Yugioh. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by WINDSTORM16 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Kaguya stared at the restrained forms of Naruto Uzumaki and Satsuki Uchiha, the most recent and soon-to-be last transmigrants of her grandsons. Both of them having been rendered unconscious to ensure they couldn't try anything. Are you happy, Hagoromo, Hamura? Look at what your actions have caused, the pain, devastation, death and destruction. Are you satisfied that you were able to destroy your mother's nursery? The pain you caused for your son's descendants and transmigrations? Kaguya asked while looking at the piles of ashes that were once Kakashi Haddock and Sakura Haruno, having dealt with them with her all-killing ash bone. Turning back to Naruto and Satsuki, Kaguya caressed their cheeks, still remembering how she initially mistook them for her sons after being revived. With the rabbit goddess then taking back her chakra from them, as well as the fragments of hers and the Jbai's chakra within the whiskered blonde. You both also dared to stand against me, tried sealing me away again, when all I wish is to protect my nursery from those that'd seek to destroy it. Stated Kaguya, despite knowing they couldn't hear her, before she used Uematsu Hirosaka to open a portal behind them. But you needn't fear, I merely want to reclaim what was mine, and no matter how distant my children and descendants may have grown from me, I will not kill you both. Though I also can't let you stay and continue to interfere. So, consider this a gift, a second chance for the both of you to have new lives. You may hate me for it, but I'm sure that in time you learn that your mother knows what's best for you. Kaguya said while moving Naruto and Satsuki into the portal, releasing them once they were inside, then closing it behind them. With both of her descendants now out of the way, Kaguya returned to the elemental nations, knowing she still had to reclaim the rest of her chakra and prepare for the arrival of the others. The rabbit goddess refusing to let anyone else threaten or damage her nursery again. Satellite. Meanwhile, off the coast of New Domino City was the island city of Satellite, which is mostly used as a plant to recycle and process the garbage of New Domino. Well, the people who lived in Satellite were made to work in the plants, along with being viewed with disdain by those from New Domino. With this all resulting in Satellite suffering from urban decay and pollution. Though on the empty coast of Satellite, a portal suddenly opened up as both Naruto and Satsuki fell out onto a large pile of garbage, leading to them tumbling down until they hit the ground. Neither of the two being able to react or do anything due to their current condition, which was only made worse from the loss of their chakra. Luckily for the two ninja, help soon arrived as two motorcycles pulled up to them. The first resembled a pale blue, nearly white, dragon with bright blue eyes, with the head being the front of the bike, with its wings being on either side of the seat, as well as a red KC logo on the side of it. And the second looked more streamlined, being dark purple in color with lighter purple highlights. Both of the riders got off the bikes and took off their helmets, revealing two people that anyone would be able to tell who they were the moment they looked at them. The first had fair skin, purple eyes and extremely extravagant hair featuring multiple layers including long blonde crooked, pointy locks hanging on the right side of his face and covering most of it. The rest of his features consisted of a set of 5 large spikes and 2 smaller spikes, colored black with a magenta sheen along the edges, as well as having a blue mark that went through his left eye resembling a scar. With his attire consisting of a black tank top, a black studded choker, a dark blue trench coat with black armbands on his upper arms, a black vest with gold trimming that went over his left shoulder and right side, a black belt around his waist with a gold buckle, black pants, and dark blue boots. And the second man had fair skin as well, dark blue eyes and brown hair with bangs down to the top of his eyes, along with having a burn scar on his right cheek and a scar going through his left eye. With him wearing a white button-up shirt, a dark blue tie, black gloves, a black suit jacket, black dress pants, and black dress shoes. These two were Yugi Muto and Seto Kaiba, the king of games and CEO of Kaiba Corp, as the rest of the world would know them as. Or at least, that's who they'd used to be, as both men would claim, having left everything of their former lives behind after the Zero Reverse incident. An incident that happened 17 years ago after the Energy system, an energy source that was used to create an endless supply of energy to power New Domino City, had overloaded. Unfortunately, the system had been incomplete and unstable at the time it was first discovered, resulting in the Energy reactor overloading and exploding, causing a massive tectonic shift and destruction in the city. Which led to Satellite breaking off from Domino City, as it was known at the time, and becoming the island city it is today. It was this incident that led Yugi and Kaiba to go into self-exile after blaming themselves for Zero Reverse. Yugi due to his inability to do anything to stop it, while Kaiba Corporation's RRD was in charge of the technology. Both of them choosing to go into self-exile after this, not wanting to make things any worse than they believed they already had. The two having gone to satellite, knowing that no one would look for them there, while making sure to not draw attention to themselves. With them having been out getting supplies when they heard the crash from Naruto's and Satsuki's landing. Something they'd normally avoid, since such noises weren't surprising in satellite, with people either getting into fights or sector security, trying to arrest anyone they saw as criminals. But after a few moments of not hearing anything else, they decided to see what caused the crash, only for them to be surprised at finding two unconscious teenagers. With Yugi and Kaiba going over to them to see if they're alright, only to be surprised again at seeing the state they were in. Looking like they were in a fight that could have killed them. They're still alive at least. Kaiba stated upon seeing that both of them were still breathing, with Yugi nodding in agreement as they looked them over. Yes, but what could have caused this? Yugi pondered with a frown, given how they were injured and covered in blood, while looking like they received wounds that should have killed them. Probably jumped by a gang who didn't feel like just beating them in a duel. Said Kaiba, knowing that gangs in satellite would target those they saw as easy opponents to beat them and take their decks, or just attack those they weren't sure they could beat. Yugi, though, wasn't sure about that since he didn't see anything on them to indicate they were duelists, along with not seeing any criminal marks on them. Something that's rare to see since most people in satellite had criminal marks, whether they were born and raised here or were sent to satellite depending on their crime. We should bring them back to let them rest and recover. Yugi said while putting the blonde boy's arm over his shoulder and lifting him up, while Kaiba looked at him with narrowed eyes. You really want to bring two strangers back to our hideout? Not knowing who they are or showing them where we live? Kaiba demanded, not wanting to have them wake up and recognize who they are, which would only invite more trouble for them. Would you be able to just leave them here, where they'd be grabbed by either the gangs or sector security to be branded? Retorted Yugi after laying the boy across his duel runner, making Kaiba let out a TSK before picking up a girl and going over to his duel runner laying her across it. Once the two were secured, Yugi and Kaiba got on their runners before driving off to get both of them medical treatment. Later. When Naruto and Satsuki woke up, both of them couldn't help but groan at how sore they felt, feeling like all of their energy had been drained out of them before getting crushed by the Jibai. That thought making them tense before quickly sitting up, only to immediately regret it as their bodies screamed in protest. The two only becoming more on edge when they took in their surroundings, not recognizing where they were. Satsuki, any idea where we are? Naruto asked warily as he tried to get off the bed, only to find he could barely move. No, and I can't see anything either. Kaguya must have did something that's blocking my eyes. Said Satsuki as she narrowed her eyes, unable to see anything with her Sharingan or Rinnegan. Let me see if I can sense anything. Said Naruto as he closed his eyes to sense where they were and if there was anybody nearby, only to become worried when he couldn't sense anything. I can't sense anything. I can't even sense you. Naruto said as he turned to look at Satsuki, unable to sense her chakra, making the Ravenette's head snap towards him. What are you talking about? You should, Satsuki said, only to stop as her eyes widened in horror when she couldn't sense Naruto either. Kurama. Kurama, do you know what's happening? Come on, answer, what's going on? Kurama. Naruto mentally exclaimed as he tried to contact the Bijk, only to be met with silence as horror and realization started to dawn on him as well. Our chakra, it said Satsuki as she held up her left hand, no longer seeing the black moon mark on it, nor being able to form a Chidori. It's gone, it's all gone, stated Naruto, also seeing that the white sun mark was gone and he couldn't make a Rasengan. The two taking notice of just how weak they really were, horrified at realizing they had really lost their chakra to Kaguya. Then all that it really happened. She really killed Kakashi-sensei and Sakura. Naruto muttered as the memories started coming back to them, with the Uchiha nodding somberly. Yeah, she did. Satsuki replied, both of them remembering the fight against Kaguya. They thought they had a chance against her, since she didn't have Madara's skill, training and experience, along with not wanting to kill them, so she could take back her chakra. And it seemed easy enough, all they needed to do was touch her, and she'd be sealed away again. Only for Kaguya to prove what she lacked in training, she more than made up for in power and knowledge. Having separated them in her dimensions to ensure that they couldn't work together to seal her away, only being able to reunite thanks to Obito's Kamui before he was killed by Kaguya's all-killing ash bone. After that, things only got worse. Kaguya made sure to keep them all at a distance and made sure they couldn't get in close. They'd only managed to get a slight advantage when Naruto used his reverse harem jutsu to momentarily stun her, but that didn't last long. Then Kaguya pulled an unexpected move as she began targeting Kakashi and Sakura, especially once the former received Obito's eyes and the full power of their Mangekyou Sharingan, rather than Naruto and Satsuki. Forcing them both to make sure they were safe. Mostly Naruto, since Satsuki knew if one of them died then it wouldn't matter in the end, but she still did what she could to keep them safe. Only for the rabbit goddess to take advantage of this, using the opportunity to capture both of them. Before she then hit the Jimnin and Pinket with her all-killing ash bone. After that, they'd been left unconscious, and they can only guess Kaguya ripped their chakra out of them before sending them wherever they were now. At least we killed that bastard Zetsu. Stated Naruto, trying to find something positive in all this. Yeah. Satsuki said in agreement, having taken a sadistic pleasure in watching the parasite burn to death via her Amaterasu, after learning that he the one responsible for the Uchiha clan's downward spiral and exposure to the curse of hatred with his manipulation of their ancestor, Indra. But even so, they still felt the pain and hurt from losing their teammate and teacher, along with Kurama in Naruto's case. Along with how they failed everyone now trapped in the infinite Tsukiyomi, leaving them trapped to have their chakra drained away and be transformed into white Zetsu. Though the two were pulled from their thoughts when the door opened, making them tense slightly as Yugi and Kaiba entered the room. "You're both awake," Yugi said in slight surprise, not expecting either of the two to wake up this soon given the state they'd been in. Yeah, we are. I guess you're the ones who found us," replied Naruto, wary of who they were, while Kaiba raised a brow at them upon seeing not even a hint of recognition on their faces as to who they were. "Yes, we found you both unconscious near the coast, looking like you lost a fight and falling down a trash pile. Were you attacked by a gang?" Kaiba asked, wanting to get some information as to who these two were and what happened to them. "Gang?" questioned Satsuki with a frown. "Yes, a gang. There are several of them scattered throughout Satellite, though most of them were dealt with a few years ago, but more always keep appearing," said Yugi, remembering how most of the gangs in Satellite had been taken down by the enforcers who wanted to unite Satellite and make it safer until they were disbanded after their leader had fallen to insanity from what they heard. "Satellite," Naruto said in confusion at the name, only being able to guess that's where they were. "The island city. The one off the coast of New Domino City. Basically used as the city's personal dumping grounds. Any of this sounding familiar?" questioned Kaiba, only to see confusion on Naruto's and Satsuki's face. With both ninja being confused at the names before looking at each other in worry as they began realizing that Kaguya didn't just take their chakra, she sent them to a new dimension as well. Only this time, they had no way back home, no way to prove they're from another dimension without chakra, and no idea what kind of world they're even in. "And no, we really don't know any of those places. Or what happened," Satsuki replied, with Naruto nodding in agreement with a confused expression, both of them silently agreeing to play the amnesia card. Since they couldn't just tell them they're from a different dimension, since without chakra they had no proof and would likely be seen as crazy. While her words made Yugi and Kaiba frown as they sat down, wondering if something else had happened to them. "Well, what do you both know? What about your names?" Yugi asked, with the two frowning as they tried remembering their names. "My name is it's Naruto Uzumaki. And you're your Satsuki, right?" said Naruto as he looks towards the Uchiha, who nodded slowly in agreement. "Yeah, that's my name, Satsuki Uchiha. We knew each other, we're friends I think," Satsuki said in confusion and remembrance. "That's good that you both know your names and each other. I'm Yugi Muto and this is Seto Kaiba," Yugi introduced, with him and Kaiba looking at them to see if there's any recognition, only to see none as Naruto and Satsuki looked at them blankly. "It's nice meeting you, Yugi and Seto. And thank you for your help, but maybe we should get going, in case someone is looking for us if we were attacked," Satsuki said as she forced herself to get up despite still feeling weak and tired, with Naruto doing the same. "She's right, we don't know what could have happened and don't want to risk the chance of something happening," added Naruto as they tried standing up to leave, only to be stopped by Yugi and Kaiba. "Neither of you are likely to make it out the door, let alone go off on your own. The fact you don't remember anything besides your names won't help matters. If you're so insistent on leaving, at least do so after you're fully healed, since you won't get far in Satellite otherwise," Kaiba said, knowing they'd be seen as easy targets whether they had anything on them or not. "Agreed, though you're both welcome to stay here as long as you'd like, whether it's until you can remember something or whenever you decide to leave. But please wait until you've rested and recovered," said Yugi, with Naruto and Satsuki looking ready to argue since they still needed to find out more about the world they're now in. But realized that it'd probably be better to wait until they were healed, since without chakra they weren't as strong as they were before. Plus if Satellite really is an island city, one that's apparently seen as a dumping ground, then it's unlikely they'd find a way off it either. They may also get the chance to learn more about this world from Yugi and Kaiba as well by staying with them. "Okay, thanks again for your help and the offer," Naruto replied with Satsuki nodding in agreement as Yugi and Kaiba nodded in response before exiting the room to let them rest. Laying back down on the beds, Naruto and Satsuki exchanged a look before turning back to the ceiling, both of them wondering just how different this world was compared to their own. Time skip 6 months. 6 months have passed since Naruto and Satsuki had landed in Satellite, with them having managed to recover from their battle with Kaguya and losing their chakra after nearly a month after their arrival. with them having learned more about the world they were now in from Yugi and Kaiba. Learning more about Satellite, New Domino City, the different countries in the world and about duel monsters. The latter of which did get the two ninjas' interest when they learned about the game, even more so that Yugi and Kaiba were seen as the best duelists in the world before they went into self-exile. Their interest only growing as they learned about all the different monsters, spells and traps. Along with the emergence of turbo duels, where the duelists would ride duel runners, racing and dueling on a track. As well as the new synchro summons that emerged along with turbo duels and have become the common special summoning method, basically replacing fusion summons. They'd also learned about another new type of summoning method called Ziz summons. Though it's less known with how rare Ziz monsters and cards that support them are to come by, only being used by those that can get their hands on them. And given how removed Satellite was, any Ziz cards would only be brought there through less than legal methods. After learning everything about duel monsters, Naruto and Satsuki had expressed interest in learning how to play the game as well. Since it did seem fun to play, as well as being the primary solution to settling problems between people. With Yugi and Kaiba offering to train both of them respectively, which they accepted with Naruto becoming Yugi's apprentice and Satsuki becoming Kaiba's. The two duelists teaching them everything they knew about duel monsters, along with passing on some of their cards to the ninja. Knowing their dueling days were over and wanted to make sure their cards would still be used rather than gathering dust. Something that Naruto and Satsuki were thankful for, swearing they'll do their best to live up to their mentor's legacy. Both former ninja also built their own decks from cards they managed to find scattered all over Satellite, sold in the few card shops scattered throughout the island, and stealing confiscated cards from sector security. The latter of which they were able to do thanks to their training, as even without chakra, they were still stronger and faster than the average person. The Uzumaki and Uchiha had also gotten new outfits to go with their new lives in Satellite. But Satsuki wearing a dull green formal shirt with the top buttons being undone to show off her cleavage, a black cape-like garment with ripped sleeves and edges, as well as a hood used to hide her face, a dark blue pleated miniskirt, black spandex shorts that went down to mid-thigh, and black boot-like shoes. While Naruto wore a black trench coat with a high collar, a red interior and dull green trimming, a burnt orange shirt, a fingerless black glove on his right hand, white pants, and black boots. Currently, Naruto and Satsuki were inside the sector security warehouse where the confiscated cards were kept. Having brought a large bag to take a lot of the decks, since any cards they didn't keep they'd be able to either sell or trade them for ones they would use. Only to suddenly tense when they heard something nearby, making them look at each other. "The guard?" Naruto asked quietly, wondering if any guards were patrolling, with Satsuki shaking her head. "I don't think so, they usually stay outside. It's probably someone else stealing cards," replied Satsuki, knowing that other duelists would likely break into the warehouse to steal cards as well. "We should knock them out before they trip an alarm or get caught," Satsuki stated, not wanting to risk them getting caught because someone else broke in at the same time as them. Nodding in agreement, Naruto motioned her to go one way while he went the other, so they'd be able to corner whoever else broke in. Moving through the shelves, Naruto soon spotted the other thief going through the boxes and taking out several decks as they did so. Though he couldn't make out who it was in the darkness, only that they were Guy. Spotting Satsuki at the other end of the aisle, the Uchiha nodded at the Uzumaki before she pulled a box off a shelf, letting it fall to the ground. With this getting the attention of the thief, giving Naruto the chance to quickly run up behind them, kicking their feet out from under them before pinning the thief to the ground. "Are you serious? You guys are patrolling inside now too," said the thief as he tried struggling to get free from Naruto's hold, only to wince when the whiskered blonde twisted his arms behind him. "We're not cops, you idiot, but keep shouting and I'm sure they'll be showing up," Satsuki said as she stepped out and went over to the two, with the former ninja getting a look at the thief. The thief looked to be 15 years old, about a year younger than them, had dark gray eyes and brushy spiked orange hair with a viridian headband embroidered with 2 rings at the right side. With him wearing blue jeans, a yellow t-shirt, a sleeveless brown cargo vest and brown boots. He also wears a pair of earrings in the shape of washers. Something unique is that he has what look like several criminal marks on his face, an M shaped on his forehead, a dot on the right side, small markings on the corner of his eyes, and 2 crooked lines going down his cheeks. "Oh great, just my luck. Had to break in at the same time as 2 amateurs," said the thief while letting out an annoyed sigh, much to Naruto's and Satsuki's annoyance at being called amateurs when they've already done this multiple times and never got caught once. "Says the guy who's currently pinned to the ground," Naruto retorted, making the thief pause, knowing they had him there. "Touché. You mind getting off me then, I'm not stupid enough to take you both on and end up getting sector security's attention," said the thief, with Naruto and Satsuki trading a look, wondering if they should trust the guy to not try anything. "Fine, but try anything and we'll leave you unconscious for the guards," said Satsuki, while Naruto got off the thief who stood up and rolled his shoulders. Thanks, guess you guys aren't amateurs after all, if you've been here longer than me. The thief said while picking up his bag. I'm guessing you're here looking for cards for your own deck as well, or to at least sell them. Naruto stated, only for the thief to let out a snort. Ha. As if, I already have a deck and it's better than anything I'd find here. And I'm not looking to sell cards, I'm getting them for others. Replied the thief, already having his own deck and didn't plan on adding any new cards that'd throw it off. Okay. Well, I'm Satsuki Uchiha and this is my friend, Naruto Uzumaki. Satsuki introduced, with the thief shaking their hands. Name's Crow Hogan. You guys new in satellite or something, or just moved to this part of the city? Asked Crow, not recognizing Naruto or Satsuki, and he didn't see criminal marks on them either. We're new. Though maybe we should continue this conversation once we're outside before anyone shows up. Said Naruto, with Satsuki and Crow nodding in agreement. Good call. You guys have duel runners? Crow asked, with the former ninja nodding in response since Yugi and Kaiba let them use their duel runners. Yeah, we do, we also have a way out of here to avoid being spotted. Satsuki replied as she and Naruto lead Crow to their way out of the warehouse, with the stolen decks in their bags. Time skip 6 months. After their encounter with Crow, the three had started hanging out and traded the cards they'd stolen from the warehouse. While also learning that Crow had been stealing the decks for some kid he's been taking care of, while introducing Naruto and Satsuki to them as well as his foster mother Martha. The former ninja having been happy when Crow introduced them to the kids, seeing he was teaching them how to duel and getting cards for them to use. Leading them to also give the kids the cards they didn't add to their own decks, seeing how happy and excited they were to get new cards. Which also made them start looking up to Naruto and Satsuki like they did with Crow. They also introduced them to Yugi and Kaiba after getting their permission when they told them about Crow and the kids. Something that left them starstruck at meeting two legendary duelists, with Yugi and Kaiba deciding to help Crow look after the kids, as well as teaching them how to play duel monsters. Seeing this as a chance to start making up for their mistakes by taking care of children who didn't have anyone else. One thing though that's changed over time is that Naruto and Satsuki have begun seeing their duel monster cards coming alive even when they weren't dueling. Something they learned from Yugi and Kaiba is that they had the ability to see and interact with duel spirits. As well as learning they could actually bring their cards to life and deal real damage in a duel if they wanted to. Resulting in them learning that they were also what's known as psychic duelists, those with the special abilities to materialize real duel monsters that can cause real pain and damage, even outside of duels. Similar to the ancient Egyptians with their use of the Millennium items and shadow games, as well as the Atlanteans who predated Egypt with their own ties to the dual spirit realms and later usage of the seal of Orichalcos. Amazing the former ninja upon seeing that while they may have lost their chakra, they have gained new powers in this new world. Making them glad that if it came down to it, they wouldn't be completely helpless in a fight. But Satsuki did become annoyed with the appearance of one dual spirit from Naruto's deck, the Dark Magician Girl, though she preferred Mana in honor of her original summoner in ancient Egypt. With Mana having taken a particular shine to Naruto after Yugi gave her card to him, something that Satsuki didn't like, especially with how she's always with him. Leading to the Uchiha and dual spirit developing a rivalry with each other for Naruto's attention, though the whiskered blonde was confused at why they didn't seem to like each other. At the moment, Naruto and Satsuki were going through an abandoned subway with Crow, the Blackwing duelist having brought them here to meet a friend of his. So, who's this friend of yours, Crow? Naruto asked, wondering who this person was as given from what little Crow told them about this person, he seemed to respect and admire them a lot. You'll find out soon enough, we're almost there. Replied Crow as he soon saw they were close to arriving, where he saw 4 others outside. Hey. Tank, Nervin, Blitz, Rally. Crow called out, getting the attention of the 4 before they smiled when they saw who it was. Hey Crow, good to see you. Said Blitz while waving at Crow. Nice of you to stop by. Been grabbing any new cards from security? Tank asked, with the orange tea shaking his head. Nah, haven't been back to the warehouse lately since I want to wait for things to cool down after my last visit, but I did bring some new friends. These are Naruto and Satsuki, funnily enough, I actually met them while they were stealing cards too. Said Crow, with Naruto and Satsuki stepping forward. Nice to meet you guys, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and this is my friend Satsuki Uchiha. Naruto said, introducing both Satsuki and himself to the group while shaking their hands. Likewise. I'm Nervin, this is Tank, Blitz and Rally. Introduced Nervin. You guys were stealing cards from security too. Does that mean you're duelists? Rally asked eagerly, wanting to know what kind of decks they used. Yeah, we're duelists, though we only recently started playing about a year ago. Replied Satsuki, much to their surprise while Crow smirked. Which will make this even better. Is he here? asked Crow, eager for the chance to duel against Naruto and Satsuki in a tag duel after seeing their decks and wanting to see them in action, while already having the perfect partner in mind. "Yep, he's working on his duel runner right now," replied Blitz, making Crow nod as he lead Naruto and Satsuki into the hideout. But the former ninja seeing it had a TV setup, which is surprising since most people in Satellite didn't have TVs, let alone ones that'd be able to get a signal to New Domino City. Before their attention turned to a half-built red duel runner where they saw someone working on it. The person was a teenager that looked to be the same age as them, 17 years old, with lightly tanned skin, a somewhat muscular-looking physique, black hair with gold highlights and royal blue eyes. The upper layer of his hair juts upward while the lower layer arches down. With him wearing a long-sleeved blue jacket with a high collar and amber gems over a sleeveless black shirt with a red symbol and gloves below his elbows with an amber gem on them. His lower body consists of black jeans with amber knee pads, a belt with 2 deck holsters hidden under his jacket, and calf-high motorcycle boots. They also look to be deep in their work on the duel runner, as they didn't even seem to notice the trio entering. "Hey Yusei," said Crow, finally getting the attention of the now-named Yusei, who looked up from his work before standing up and smiling slightly. "Crow, I didn't expect to see you here today. But it's good to see you again," Yusei said while shaking Crow's hand as they patted each other on the back before he turned his attention to Naruto and Satsuki. "You two man. I came by actually to introduce you to some new friends I made. Naruto, Satsuki, this is Yusei Fudo, one of the best duelists I know. Yusei, these are Naruto Uzumaki and Satsuki Uchiha, they're some new duelists I met while lifting some decks from sector security." Crow introduced as Naruto and Satsuki shook Yusei's hand. "Nice to meet you both," Yusei said while nodding at the two, knowing if Crow trusted them then they're likely good people. "Nice to meet you too, Yusei. And cool duel runner you have," Naruto said, admiring the duel runner, seeing that even if it wasn't completed yet, it'll definitely be a great ride. "Thanks, I've been working on it the past year now and I'm hoping to have it done soon," Yusei said while looking at his second duel runner, knowing once it's done he'll need to test it out and make sure it's fast enough to get through the tunnel. "I think we could help with that, or at least we know someone that could help you finish it," offered Satsuki, as aside from dueling, Kaiba also taught them about mechanics, engineering and programming, so they'd be able to take care of their duel runners. "Hold your horses there before we get started on that," Yusei, interested in a tag duel? Crow asked, getting a raised brow from Yusei before looking at Naruto and Satsuki. "You guys are duelists?" asked Yusei, a little interested that Crow wanting to have a tag duel against them. "Oh yeah they are. Trust me man, you'll never believe the decks they have until you see 'em firsthand," said Crow before Naruto or Satsuki could reply, with Yusei humming in thought before nodding. "Okay, let's see what you both can do," Yusei said, now intrigued at seeing what their decks are like. Later. After getting his dual disc, Naruto, Satsuki, Yusei and Crow headed outside to a clearing where the trio had parked their dual discs. With Crow getting his from the Blackbird, while Naruto and Satsuki got their own dual discs. With Naruto's having a golden body and black blade with golden highlights while the card slots glowed blue. While Satsuki's resembled the blue eyes white dragon's head as the body and its wing as the blade. "Everyone ready?" Satsuki asked while looking at the boys with Yusei and Crow standing across from her and Naruto, with the three nodding as they activated their dual discs. "Duel. NS8000. YC8000. If you don't mind, I'll start things off," Naruto said as he drew a card and adding it to his hand before seeing what he had. "And I'll start by summoning Magician's Robe in defense mode," Naruto said as a set of dark blue wizard robes with lighter blue edging appeared on the field before turning navy blue, showing they were in defense mode. Magician's Robe. Attribute. Dark. Level. 2. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Effect. During your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can discard 1 spell trap. Special summon 1 dark magician from your deck. During your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell trap card or effect while this card is in your GI, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effective Magician's Robe once per turn. ATK 700, Def 2000. "Then I'll set 2 cards face down and end my turn," said Naruto as he placed 2 cards face down on the field. "Okay, then it's my move now," Yusei said while drawing a card and adding it to his hand. "I'll start by summon Shield Wing in defense mode," said Yusei as he summoned his monster to the field, with it turning blue as its wings folded in front of it. Shield Wing. Attribute. Wind. Level. 2. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Winged Beast. Effect. Twice per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. ATK 0, Def 900. Then I'll put 2 cards face down and end my turn," Yusei said while putting 2 cards face down, wanting to get a feel for what their decks are like before going on the offensive. Looks like it's my turn then. Said Satsuki as she drew a card and adding it to her hand, with the Uchiha smirking at what she had. I'm gonna summon to the field, Assault Wyvern in attack mode. Satsuki said while summoning her dragon to the field as it let out a roar. Assault Wyvern. Attribute. Light. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Winged beast. Effect. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you contribute this card. Special summon 1 dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard except Assault Wyvern. ATK 1800, Def 1000. Then I play the spell card, Foolish Burial, sending one of my monsters in my deck to the graveyard. Said Satsuki while playing her spell and sending a monster from her deck to the graveyard. Foolish Burial. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Send 1 monster from your deck to the Jai. Finally, I'll set 1 card face down and end my turn. Satsuki said while setting 1 card face down. And now it's yours truly. Said Crow as he drew a card and adding it to his hand. I'll start off by summoning out Blackwing Shura the Blue Flame. Crow said as his Blackwing monster appeared in a swirl of blue flames. Blackwing Shura the Blue Flame. Attribute. Dark. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Winged beast. Effect. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Blackwing monster with 1500 or less ATK from your deck, but its effects are negated. ATK 1800, Def 1200. And because I now have a Blackwing monster out on the field, I can special summon another of my feathered friends. Go, Blackwing Gale, the Whirlwind. Crow said while summoning another Blackwing monster to the field. Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind. Attribute. Dark. Level. 3. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Winged beast. Effect. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. That target's ATK and Def become half its current ATK and Def. ATK 1300, Def 400. Lastly, I'm setting 2 cards face down and end my turn. Said Crow as he set 2 cards face down. Then it's back to me. Naruto said while drawing a card and adding it to his hand. I'm summoning Magician's Rod. Said Naruto, summoning his monster, with it being a wizard staff appearing alongside the robes. Magician's Rod. Attribute. Dark. Level. 2. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 spell trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists the card Dark Magician in its text. During your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell trap card or effect while this card is in your Jai, except during the damage step, you contribute 1 spellcaster monster. Add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Magician's Rod once per turn. ATK 1600, Def 100. And with it I can activate Magician's Rod's ability, letting me add 1 spell trap card to my hand. Said Naruto while looking through his deck and selecting the card he just drew. I'll end my turn with that. Naruto said, making Yusei frown as he wondered what could be planning with a move like that. Alright, I draw then. Yusei said drawing a card and adding it to his hand. And I get to activate Magician's Robe's ability now as well. By discarding a spell or trap card from my hand, I get special summon a very special monster from my deck. So come forth, Dark Magician. Said Naruto, much to Yusei's shock as from a pillar of darkness, the legendary monster emerged in his dark blue robes and staff in hand. Dark Magician. Attribute. Dark. Level. 7. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Card text. The ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. ATK 2500, Def 2100. Dark Magician. Yusei said in shock, not expecting to see such a legendary monster, let alone one that should only belong to Yugi Muto. This is the greatest duel of my life. Crow said with a large grin on his face at seeing the Dark Magician in person. Crow? Did you know he had that card? Said Yusei while looking at his friend in disbelief, making the orange tea laugh slightly. Sorry Yusei, but it was too good to pass up to get a reaction out of you. We'll tell you everything after the duel, for now let's show him what we can do. Crow said, not wanting to lose the chance to defeat such monsters. But Yusei nodding slowly as he now regarded Naruto and Satsuki warily since if the former has the Dark Magician, who knows what other cards he has. Not to mention Satsuki's own deck, which Yusei wasn't even sure if he wanted to find what it held. Okay, looks like I can't afford to hold back. I activate the spell card Double Summon, letting me summon 2 monsters this turn. Said Yusei while playing his spell. Double Summon. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. You can conduct 2 normal summon sets this turn, not just one. And I'll use it to summon Shield Warrior and Nitro Synchron. Yusei said, summoning both monsters. Shield Warrior. Attribute. Earth. Level. 3. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Warrior. Effect. During damage calculation in either player's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Monsters you control cannot be destroyed by this battle. ATK 800, Def 1600. Nitro Synchron. Attribute. Fire. Level. 2. Card type. Effect tuner monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard for the synchro summon of a Nitro Synchro monster, draw 1 card. ATK 300, Def 100. And now I tune my level 2 Nitro Synchron with my level 3 Shield Warrior and level 2 Shield Wing in order to synchro summon Nitro Warrior. Let's rev it up, said Yusei as Nitro Synchron glowed before turning into 2 rings in the air which Shield Warrior and Shield Wing flew into, transforming into a pillar of light as Nitro Warrior emerged from it. Nitro Warrior. Attribute. Fire. Level. 7. Card type. Effect Synchro Monster. Monster type. Warrior. Effect. Nitro Synchron plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters once during each of your turns. If you activated a spell card, this card gains 1000 ATK during the next attack, this turn involving this card, during damage calculation only. If this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, after damage calculation, you can target one face-up defense position monster your opponent controls. Change that target to attack position, then this card can make a second attack in a row on that monster. ATK 2800, Def 1800. And thanks to Nitro Synchron's effect, since I used it to synchro summon a Nitro monster, I get to draw a card, said Yusei as he drew a card. Next I play the spell, Card Rotator. By discarding a card from my hand, all the monsters you control switch their positions. Yusei said while playing his spell card as Magician's Rod, Dark Magician and Assault Wyvern were switched to defense mode, and Magician's Robe was switched to attack mode. Card Rotator. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Change the battle positions of all monsters your opponent controls. Now Nitro Warrior take out Magician's Robe, Dynamite Crunch, said Yusei, with Nitro Warrior clenching its fist before charging towards Magician's Robe. Not so fast, Yusei. Don't forget my face downs. I play my trap, Magical Cylinder. Negating your attack and dealing damage to you equal to Nitro Warrior's attack points, said Naruto as he revealed his trap card. Magical Cylinder. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster. Negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its ATK. You aren't the only one with face downs. I play my own trap, Trap Stun, cancelling out your Magical Cylinder and any other traps you may have. Crow said, playing his own trap card as it blasted Magical Cylinder and destroyed it. Trap Stun. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. Negate the effects of all other trap cards on the field during this turn. This gave Nitro Warrior the chance to destroy Magician's Robe, dealing some damage to Naruto's and Satsuki's life points. NS 8000, 2100 equals 5900. That's not all, when Nitro Warrior destroys one of your monsters in battle and you have a face-up defense position monster, he can switch that monster to attack mode and attack again. And I'm choosing Magician's Rod, said Yusei, with Magician's Rod being switched to attack mode before Nitro Warrior charged forward and destroyed it as well, dealing more damage to the former ninja. NS 5900, 900 equals 5000. And with that I'm ending my turn, said Yusei, pleased at his move, while Naruto frowned at losing 2 monsters and one of his traps. Now it's my move, Satsuki said, drawing a card and adding it to her hand. And I'm playing my own double summon to bring out 2 monsters at once, said Satsuki while playing her own double summon. As for the monster I'm bringing out, I choose Kaibaman and the King of D, Satsuki said while summoning both of her monsters. Kaibaman. Attribute. Light. Level. 3. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Warrior. Effect. You contribute this card. Special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. ATK 200, Def 700. The King of D. Attribute. Dark. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Effect. This card's name becomes Lord of D while on the field. When this card is normal summoned, you can discard 1 spell trap. Add 1 The Flute of Summoning Dragon, the Melody of Awakening Dragon, or Dragon Revival Rhapsody from your deck to your hand. ATK 1200, Def 1100. And both these monsters have effects which I'm gonna be using now. First is King of D, by discarding a spell or trap, I can add the Melody of Awakening Dragon to my hand. Which I'm gonna use now, letting me discard another card to add up 2 dragon monsters to my hand. Said Satsuki, using King of D's effect before playing her spell card. The Melody of Awakening Dragon. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Discard 1 card. Add up to 2 dragon monsters with 3000 or more ATK and 2500 or less def from your deck to your hand. Now for Kaibaman's effect, by tributing him I can bring out from my hand the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Said Satsuki, much to Yusei's growing shock that she had the Blue Eyes White Dragon. While Kaibaman was enveloped in a pillar of light before from it emerged the Blue Eyes White Dragon, letting out a roar that shook the area. Blue Eyes White Dragon. The tribute. Light. Level. 8. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Dragon. Card text. This legendary dragon is a powerful engine of destruction. Virtually invincible, very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. ATK 3000, def 2500. The Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yusei said in shock and awe that they were now staring down 2 of the strongest monsters in the game. Whether we win or lose, this is the greatest duel I have ever had. Said Crow, just as shocked and amazed, with Yusei unable to help but not in agreement, knowing that not many people can't say they've gone against such legendary monsters. Don't get too excited cause my turn isn't over yet. And I think it's time for a little redo, I'm playing Card of Sanctity, letting us all draw until we have 6 cards in our hands. Said Satsuki playing her spell card, letting them all draw until they had 6 cards. Card of Sanctity. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand. Then I'm playing another spell, 1 for 1. By sending 1 monster from my hand to the graveyard, I can special summon 1 level 1 monster from my hand or deck, and from my deck, I choose Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Said Satsuki while playing her spell card and sending a monster to the grave before bringing her maiden out to the field. 1 for 1. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Send 1 monster from your hand to the Jai. Special summon 1 level 1 monster from your hand or deck. Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Attribute. Light. Level. 1. Card type. Effect tuner monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Effect. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card, quick effect. You can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or Jai. When this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack and if you do, change the battle position of this card, then you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or Jai. You can only use 1 Maiden with Eyes of Blue effect per turn and only once that turn. ATK 0, def 0. But my maiden won't be staying around for long because I'm tuning her with my level 4 Assault Wyvern and my level 4 King of D to synchro summon Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Said Satsuki said as her maiden transformed into a single ring which King of D and Assault Wyvern flew through. Before they transformed into a pillar of light with her second dragon soon emerging from it, letting out a roar of its own and flew down beside her Blue Eyes. Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Attribute. Light. Level. 9. Card type. Effect Synchro Monster. Monster type. Dragon. Effect. 1 tuner +1 non-tuner normal monsters if this card is special summoned. Until the end of the next turn, neither player can target dragon monsters you currently control with card effects, also they cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once per turn, during your standby phase. You can target 1 normal monster in your Jai. Special summon it. ATK 2500, def 3000. And thanks to Azure Eyes ability, for the rest of this turn, neither of my dragons can be hit by card effects or destroyed by them. Now go Blue Eyes, destroy Nitro Warrior with White Lightning. Said Satsuki as her dragon roared before firing a blast of lightning at Nitro Warrior. Your dragons may be safe, but not their attacks. I play my trap card, Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Said Yusei while triggering his trap as a scarecrow appeared and took the hit, saving Nitro Warrior before returning to the face down position. Even better, I can keep Scrap Iron Scarecrow around after using it to keep blocking one of your attacks. Yusei said, knowing his Nitro Warrior was safe since Azure Eyes wasn't strong enough to destroy him. Maybe, but the same can't be said for your partner. Azure Eyes, attack Gale the Whirlwind. Satsuki said, with Azure Eyes roaring as well before firing a blast that destroyed Gale the Whirlwind and taking out some of their life points. YC 8000, 1200 equals 6800. And with that I end my turn. Satsuki said with a smirk at getting 2 powerful monsters on the field and dealing some damage. Way to go Satsuki. Naruto said while smiling at the Uchiha, glad she managed to help them gain an advantage. Don't celebrate just yet, it's my draw now. said Crow while drawing a card and adding it to his hand. And I'll start off by summoning Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. Crow said while summoning his monster to the field. Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. Attribute. Dark. Level. 2. Card type. Effect tuner monster. Monster type. Winged beast. Effect. Cannot be special summoned. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one level 4 or lower Blackwing monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in defense position. ATK 1300, Dev 0. Blizzard's got a special ability of his own. When he's summoned to the field I can bring back a level 4 or lower Blackwing monster from my graveyard in defense position. So come on back, Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind. Said Crow as Gale the Whirlwind reappeared on his field in defense mode. But they won't be sticking around, as now I'm tuning my level 3 Gale the Whirlwind with my level 4 Shura the Blue Flame. To synchro summon my Blackwing Armor Master. Crow said, with Gale turning into 3 wings that Shura flew through, being consumed by light as Blackwing Armor Master appeared. Blackwing Armor Master. Attribute. Dark. Level. 7. Card type. Effect Synchro Monster. Monster type. Winged Beast. Effect. 1 Blackwing tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked a monster, you can place 1 wedge counter on that monster, max. 1. You can remove all wedge counters from your opponent's monsters. The ATK and def of those monsters that had wedge counters become 0 until the end of this turn. ATK 2500, def 1500. Now go Armor Master, attack Blue Eyes White Dragon with Soaring Shadow Strike. Said Crow, with Blackwing Armor Master flying into the air before divabooming Blue Eyes, slamming his fist into the dragon's head. With Blue Eyes merely roaring before blasting Armor Master away, but rather than be destroyed, Armor Master flew back to Crow's field, making Naruto and Satsuki frown. Surprised. That's my Armor Master's ability, he can't be destroyed by battle, and we don't take battle damage involving him. But that's not all he can, check out your dragon now. Crow said, making the Uchiha look at her blue eyes, only for her eyes to widen in shock when she saw a spike in its head, right where Armor Master struck. That's a wedge counter, Blackwing Armor Master leaves 1 behind every time he attacks. And once they're removed, that monster's attack and defense automatically drops to 0 for the remainder of the turn. Revealed Crow, much to their shock as the spike fell out and Blue Eyes grew much weaker. Blue Eyes White Dragon. ATK 3000, Def 2500, ATK 0 Def 0. And with your dragon like that, it's now open for Blizzard to take out. Go Blizzard. Crow said, with Blizzard letting out a cry before charging Blue Eyes. I don't think so. I still have 1 face down and I'm gonna use it, Spellbinding Circle. Said Naruto while activating his second face down as a magic circle appeared around Blizzard, stopping its attack and trapping the Blackwing monster. Spellbinding Circle. Card type. Continuous Trap. Effect. Activate this card by targeting 1 monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack or change its battle position. When that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. This way you can't attack with Blizzard or change its position. Naruto said, making Crow grit his teeth at one of his monsters being trapped. I end my turn. Said Crow, knowing there wasn't anything left he could do, while Blue Eyes White Dragon's power returned. Blue Eyes White Dragon. ATK 0, Dev 0 ATK 3000 Def 2500. Thanks for the save. Satsuki said while smiling at Naruto, glad her dragon was saved from being destroyed. No problem and now it's my move. Said Naruto, drawing a card and adding it to his hand. First I'm switching Dark Magician back into attack mode, then I'll play the spell card Dark Magic Attack. Letting me destroy all your spell and trap cards as long as I have Dark Magician on the field. Naruto said, playing his spell while Yusei's and Crow's eyes widened before Dark Magician fired a blast of magic at all their face down cards. Dark Magic Attack. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. If you control Dark Magician, destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. Then I play another spell card, Dark Magic Curtain. With this by paying half of our life points I can bring out my magician's apprentice, the Dark Magician Girl. Said Naruto as a red curtain appeared on the field before it opened up, revealing Dark Magician Girl herself in her iconic blue and pink robes, much to Yusei's and Crow's shock, as well as the latter's excitement at seeing the famous and legendary female monster. NS 5000, 2500 equals, 2500. Dark Magic Curtain. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Pay half your LP. Special summon 1 Dark Magician from your deck. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, but you can set. Dark Magician Girl. Attribute. Dark. Level. 6. Card type. Effect Monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Effect. Gains 300 ATK for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in the Jai. ATK 2000, Def 1700. With Dark Magician girl floating down beside her master before winking at Naruto and blowing him a kiss, much to Satsuki's annoyance. Oh man. Yusei muttered, not expecting to face so many legendary monsters, wondering how it's even possible they have these cards. And because Dark Magician girl was special summoned with Dark Magic Curtain, I can still set another monster face down on the field. Naruto said, while summoning another monster face down. Now then, Dark Magician attack Blizzard the far north with Dark Magic attack. Said Naruto, with Dark Magician flying up and aiming his staff at Blizzard before firing a blast of dark magic at the monster, destroying it while also lowering Yusei's and Crow's life points. YC 6800, 1200 equals 5600. But that I put 2 cards face down and end my turn. Naruto said while putting 2 cards face down. Then it's my draw. Yusei said while drawing a card and adding it to his hand, looking over what he had, while knowing he'll be in trouble on Satsuki's turn, as her dragons can now attack without worry. First, I'm gonna summon Healing Wave Generator in defense mode. Said Yusei while summoning his monster to the field. Healing Wave Generator. Attribute. Light. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. Once per turn, you can select another face-up monster you control to gain life points equal to that monster's level x 100. ATK 800, Def 1600. And thanks to its ability, I can choose any monster we have on the field to regain some life points, and I choose my Nitro Warrior. Yusei said, as Healing Wave Generator's effect activated, restoring some of his and Crow's life points. I don't think so. Because I'm revealing one of my face downs, Magician's Combination. Said Naruto while revealing one of his traps. Magician's Combination. Card type. Continuous trap. Effect. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, except during the damage step, you contribute 1 Dark Magician or 1 Dark Magician girl. Special summon 1 Dark Magician or 1 Dark Magician girl from your hand or Jai with a different name from the tributed monster, and if you do, negate that activated effect. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the Jai, you can destroy 1 card on the field. Whenever a card or effect is activated while I control Dark Magician or Dark Magician girl, I contribute 1 of them to negate the effect. So you won't be gaining any life points. Said Naruto before nodding to Dark Magician as he vanished from the field while Healing Wave Generator's effect was negated. But that's not all, I can then special summon another Dark Magician or Dark Magician girl from my hand or graveyard, as long as its name is the opposite of the monster I just tributed. Naruto added with a smirk, much to Yusei's and Crow's shock. But there's only 1 Dark Magician girl, and you already summoned her. Said Crow, knowing that only 1 Dark Magician girl card existed, with the Uzumaki's smirk merely widening. Then let me be the first to say that you're very wrong. Get ready to meet the second Dark Magician girl. Said Naruto, shocking Yusei and Crow further, while Satsuki's annoyance grew even greater, with even Dark Magician girl looked a little annoyed. With the coffin soon opening up and revealing another Dark Magician girl, only she looked completely different from the first one. Having silver hair, tanned skin, and her robes were crimson red with gold trimming. As well as having a proud smirk on her face compared to the original smile, before she looked at the Uzumaki with a sly smile and licked her lips. Where did you get that one? Crow asked in disbelief that Naruto had a second Dark Magician girl, especially with how different she looked. I found her. Replied Naruto as he remembered how he found the second Dark Magician girl. Flashback. Starting to think this is just a wild goose chase. Thought Naruto as he searched through a large pile of scrap metal and garbage, still not seeing any sign of a single card despite how long he's been searching. The reason for his searching was that he'd heard some rumors that apparently a really rare and powerful card had been lost here, one that no one's been able to find. Something that Naruto would normally pass off as just a rumor, but when he heard that anyone who goes searching for it swore that the place was haunted. Something which definitely would have kept Naruto from going, due to him being terrified of ghosts. Though after he started seeing dual spirits, he was able to get the fear under control, given how similar they look to ghosts. And if such a card is here, then there's a chance that the reason for the apparent hauntings is that it had a powerful dual spirit, one strong enough to partially manifest and pass off as a ghost. But so far, Naruto hasn't had any luck, making him start to wonder if it really is just a rumor and that those claims of the area being haunted were only the result of people seeing things. What I wouldn't give to make clones again. Thought Naruto while sighing as he sat down to take a break from his searching. Ooh, what's this, another human trying to find me? Well, at least you're cuter than the rest of those losers. Said a sudden female voice, making Naruto freeze suddenly as he looked around but didn't see anything. Okay, it's definitely a dual spirit. Naruto thought as he got up, knowing he heard a voice, one that actually sounded a little familiar. And brave too, most would have just run away screaming at hearing me. Shame that I have to send you running. Said the voice in an amused tone, with the former ninja only being further confused as now he knew he recognized the voice. Mana. Said Naruto while looking forward as he saw Mana appear in front of him, smiling happily at her duelist. Did you need me for something, Naruto? Or did you find that card you were going to look for? Asked Mana, only to see the expression on his face, telling her that something was happening. Not yet, were you just talking now? Naruto asked, but saw the dual spirit's confused expression, showing she wasn't the one talking. No, I wasn't. Were you hearing a dual spirit? Mana said, now looking around warily with her wand at the ready, in case there was a less than friendly dual spirit. Yes, he was hearing me. Said the voice before Naruto and Mana were surprised, with the latter also being annoyed when a second dark magician girl appeared in front of them. Only this one had silver hair, tanned skin, crimson robes with gold trimming, and had a smirk on her face, rather than a smile like Mana usually did. Mana. When were you going to tell me you had a sister? Naruto asked in surprise, not expecting to see another dark magician girl, having learned from Yugi that he had the only one ever made. Never, because I don't have a sister. Mana said while moving in front of Naruto protectively, while her counterpart's smirk merely widened. Don't be like. And I actually don't mind, at least you'll have a much hotter big sister to look up to. The second dark magician girl said tauntingly, while crossing her arms under her breasts. We have a same body. And I was naturally born in the dual spirit realm, long before you were made for the Duel Monsters card game. Mana retorted in annoyance, which the silverette merely brushed off before suddenly flying behind her and Naruto, wrapping her arms around the Uzumaki's neck, pressing herself against his back. It doesn't make me any less real nor any less of a dual spirit than you, even if I'm not a naturally born one. Though I must say, not only can you see and hear me, but you're a psychic duelist too. It seems I certainly got quite the catch. Said the dark magician girl while smiling slyly at Naruto, knowing she wouldn't be able to physically touch someone unless they were a psychic duelist. While Naruto could only blush brightly at the feeling of the second dark magician girl's body pressed against him, especially when she pushed her breasts on his back. Before he is suddenly pulled away by Mana, who held his arms against her chest. Stay away from Naruto. And we both know that has nothing to do with it, since my mentor wasn't a naturally born dual spirit either. Mana said while narrowing her eyes at her counterpart, who merely kept smirking at her. Can one of you please explain what's going on? How is there another dark magician girl? Said Naruto, just wanting an explanation, making Mana look at him apologetically before pulling away. Right, sorry about that, Naruto. As for who she is, she's another version of me, said Mana. An improved version if I do say so, wouldn't you agree, cutie? The second dark magician girl said while winking at Naruto, causing Mana to give her an annoyed look. The more annoying version of me, like how Arcana had his own versions of the dark magician that are their own separate entities from my mentor, who was born from the priest Mahid, fusing his Ba and Ka after he sacrificed himself in battle against the thief King Bakura. She was made after I started becoming more popular, but only one so she'd be all the more valuable. Mana said, making Naruto nod slowly, remembering Yugi tell him and Satsuki about his past duels. Including his duel against Arcana, who had his own versions of the dark magician with their own unique dual spirits, which he'd eventually sent to Yugi after getting some help for his mental health, in accordance with the Battle City rules. Which Yugi in turn gave to him along with some of his other cards. Well, what are you doing here in Satellite? Wouldn't you be in someone's deck or at least kept on their person? Naruto asked while looking at the silverette, not believing her card is likely just buried here somewhere, while the second dark magician girl let out a scoff. You'd think so, wouldn't you? Anyone would want to have a one-of-a-kind card in their deck, especially me. But you'd be wrong, I was only kept as some trophy by a collector, along with a bunch of other rare cards. They didn't even bother using any of us, just sticking us in frames on a wall to gather dust. It was so humiliating. Said dark magician girl, having hated being stuck in a frame rather than being used in duels and beating opponents. But after the Zero Reverse incident and Satellite being created, my card ended up getting carried away before ending up here where it's currently staying. Along with some others that ended up buried, which drew in those looking for rare cards. Well, mine stayed hidden. Dark magician girl said. But why would you scare duelists away? If you want to be used in duels, wouldn't you want someone to find your card? Questioned Naruto, wondering why she'd scare away potential duelists that'd be able to use her. I don't want to be found by some wannabe losers that wouldn't be able to duel their way out of a paper bag. Or someone that'd put me on display again, like some trophy. If I'm gonna let someone find my card, it'll be someone that'll actually be able to win and use me effectively. Replied dark magician girl while putting a hand on her hip before looking at Naruto with a smirk. In fact, if you've got her with you, then that must mean you've got a deck that'd be perfect for me. What do you say, cutie, do you want me? Dark magician girl said slyly as she floated down close to Naruto, making the whiskered blonde blush brightly as she pushed her breasts together in front of his face. Hell no. He already has me. Said Mana while pulling Naruto away, refusing to have her counterpart try stealing him when she already has to compete with Satsuki. Ah, what's the matter, sis? Scared he'll see me as an improvement? Dark magician girl asked while spinning around and posing provocatively as she blew a kiss at Naruto. We have the same card and ability. The only difference is our appearance. Mana retorted in annoyance. Mana, maybe it would be good to have her join us. Said Naruto, making the silverette smile victoriously while Mana looked at him in disbelief. But why? Aren't you happy with me? Mana asked, a little hurt that he'd want to get another dark magician girl. Of course I am, you're my friend and someone I care about. But she is technically your family and I can't just leave her here alone, especially if someone does end up find her card and uses her for their own selfish desires. Besides, it'd be really great to have both of you with me in duels and knowing I'll have you two watching my back. Naruto said while smiling at both duel spirits, much to their surprise. I find she can come with us. Said Mana as she crossed her arms with a pout as now she'll likely end up having to compete with two girls for his attention. Before she let out an eep. When the silverette suddenly wrapped her arms around her, pressing their bodies together with a sly smile. Don't pout now sis, I'm sure we'll all be one big happy family. You, me, and our cutie duelist will use us whenever he wants to. Dark magician girl said while winking at Naruto, who was blushing brightly at the sight of the two duel spirits, with Mana also blushing at the hidden meaning behind her words. So, WWH where's your card anyway? Questioned Naruto, with dark magician girl letting go of Mana and motioned them to follow her. It's this way, it's actually not even that hard to find, but no one's been able to get close before I scare them off. Replied dark magician girl, with the Uzumaki nodding at this. At least I won't have to dig through any more scrap. And I'm glad that you'll be joining us, Anna. Naruto said while smiling at the silverette, who paused at the name. Anna? She asked in confusion, wondering why he called her that. Yeah, Anna. Since I can't just call you dark magician girl and now that there are two of you and you deserve a name of your own. And I thought Anna seemed like a good choice, I mean unless you don't like it. Said Naruto, with the silverette quickly shaking her head. No. It just surprised me is all and I like it. I like the name Anna. Replied the now named Anna with a smile, feeling touched and happy that he'd want to give her a name before continuing to where her card was. Then flashback. After finding Anna's card, Naruto had returned and told Satsuki, Yugi and Kaiba what happened, the latter two being surprised at seeing another dark magician girl card. While the Uchiha was annoyed that she had another girl to compete with, even worse was Anna wasn't very subtle about her affections for the whiskered blonde. With Naruto also getting to know Anna, learning just how different she was from Anna, who came off as more free-spirited and fun-loving, but knowing how to get serious when needed. Anna on the other hand was more cool-headed and serious, along with being seductive, and had a tendency to taunt and tease others. As well as tending to butt heads with Mana and Satsuki, mostly just to get a rise out of them. Though the Uzumaki shook his head and focused back on the duel since it was still Yusei's turn, but not before he activated Mana's and Anna's abilities. They don't just look similar. They also share the same ability as well. For every dark magician in the graveyard, my dark magician girls gain 300 attack points. Said Naruto as the female monsters grew even stronger. Dark magician girl. ATK 2000, Def 1700, ATK 2300, Def 1700. Dark magician girl. ATK 2000, Def 1700, ATK 2300, Def 1700. With Yusei looking at the cards in his hand with a frown, trying to think of a strategy, knowing he had to play this carefully. And they both still have a face down, I could try attacking, but that may end up backfiring on us. Better play it safe for now. Yusei thought, knowing he couldn't risk either of those face downs being something that could destroy his and Crow's monsters, not when they're going against so many powerful monsters. I'm putting 2 cards face down and end my turn. Said Yusei while putting 2 cards face down on the field. Then it's my draw. Satsuki stated, drawing a card and adding it to her. And because it's now my standby phase, I can use Azure Eyes Silver Dragon's ability to bring back one normal monster from the graveyard. So here's Blue Eyes White Dragon number 2. Said Satsuki as she brought back her second Blue Eyes White Dragon, with Yusei and Crow now facing down 3 massive dragons and 2 powerful magicians. But my 2 Blue Eyes won't be sticking around because I'm fusing them together to special summon Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Satsuki, shocking their opponents as both of her dragons flew into the air before colliding together, emitting a bright light that illuminated the area. Once the light faded, it revealed a new Blue Eyes White Dragon, one with two heads that both roared loudly at Yusei and Crow. Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Attribute. Light. Level. 10. Card type. Effect Fusion Monster. Monster type. Dragon. Effect. Blue Eyes White Dragon plus Blue Eyes White Dragon must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by sending the above monsters you control to the Jai, in which case you do not use polymerization. Cannot be destroyed by battle. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. At the end of the damage step, when this card attacks an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by the battle, you can banish that opponent's monster. ATK 3000, Def 2500. But you need polymerization or some other fusion card to fuse monsters together. How did you summon a fusion monster without one? Yusei asked, with Satsuki merely smirking. That's one of my Twin Burst Dragon's special abilities, as long as I have the required fusion monsters out on the field, I don't need to use polymerization. Even better, my dragon can attack twice on the same turn. Go Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, destroy Healing Wave Generator. Said Satsuki, with her dragon roaring before one of the heads opened its mouth and fired a blast of lightning at Yusei's monster. I'm playing one of my face downs, realize defense. With this I can switch my Healing Wave Generator into defense mode. Yusei said while quickly playing his trap card, switching Healing Wave Generator to defense mode. Revealing defense. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. Select one face-up attack position monster you control with a higher original def than its original ATK. Change it to defense position. While it couldn't save his monster from being destroyed, it did save them from losing a lot of life points. Okay, you may have saved your life points, but you won't save Blackwing Armor Master. Blue Eyes, clip that bird's wings. Said Satsuki, much to Yusei's and Crow's confusion as Blue Eyes fired another blast of lightning at Armor Master, who flew right into the lightning and punched the dragon, leaving behind a wedge counter. Why would you do that? Crow asked since they know it wouldn't destroy his Armor Master or inflict any damage. Only to be shocked when he watched as his Blackwing Armor Master suddenly collapsed to a knee and began dissolving into particles of light as it was removed from play. That'd be my dragon's other ability, any monster it attacks in battles but doesn't destroy, that monster is then removed from play. Satsuki said with a smirk, much to their disbelief. But why stop there, as now I play the spell card, Defusion. Letting me separate my Twin Burst Dragon back into 2. Satsuki said while playing her spell, causing her Twin Burst Dragon separated itself back into 2 Blue Eyes. Defusion. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Target one fusion monster on the field. Return that target to the extra deck, then, if all the fusion materials that were used for its fusion summon are in your Jai, you can special summon all of them. Now Blue Eyes number 1, take out Nitro Warrior with White Lightning. Said Satsuki, as the first Blue Eyes roared before firing a blast of lightning at Nitro Warrior. I'm playing my second face down, Synchro Barrier. With this I can sacrifice Nitro Warrior, making it so we don't take damage for the rest of this turn. Yusei said as he played his second trap card, while Nitro Warrior vanished as a barrier shielded him and Crow from the lighting. Synchro Barrier. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. Tribute one synchro monster you control. You do not take any damage until the end phase of the next turn. The Ravenette clicked her tongue in annoyance at her attack being stopped and unable to deal any damage with her other dragons, but was satisfied that their field was now empty. I end my turn. Said Satsuki as she ended her turn. Phew, that was a close one. Good save Yusei. Said Crow, knowing they'd have lost if it wasn't for Yusei's traps. Thanks, now let's hope we can find a way to turn this around. Yusei replied, knowing they'll likely lose this duel if they don't think of something or draw the right cards. Yeah, now I draw. Crow said while drawing a card and adding it to his hand, seeing what he had, the orange tea smirked as he got an idea for how they could turn this duel around. First up I'm summoning Blackwing Kalit the Moon Shadow. Said Crow as he summoned his monster to the field. Blackwing Kalit the Moon Shadow. Attribute. Dark. Level. 3. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Winged beast. Effect. When a Blackwing monster you control attacks or is attacked, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard during the damage step to have that monster gain 1400 ATK until the end phase. ATK 1400, Def 1000. And because I've got a Blackwing out on the field now, I can special summon Blackwing Borer the Spear. Crow said while summoning another Blackwing. Blackwing Borer the Spear. Attribute. Dark. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Winged beast. Effect. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Blackwing Borer the Spear, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. ATK 1700, def 800. That's not all though, now I'm playing the spell card Rendering Tuning, letting me special summon a tuner monster from my hand. And I'm choosing Blackwing Hurricane the Tornado. Said Crow while playing his spell and summoning a third monster. Rendering Tuning. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Select one tuner monster in your hand and special summon it. Blackwing Hurricane the Tornado. Attribute. Dark. Level. 1. Card type. Effect Tuner Monster. Monster type. Winged Beast. Effect. When this card is summoned, select one face-up synchro monster on the field. This card's ATK becomes the same as the selected monsters. ATK 0, def 0. Now I'm sure you know what's coming next. I tune my Hurricane the Tornado with Bora the Spear and Kalit the Moon Shadow to synchro summon Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. Crow said as Tornado turned into a single ring which Bora and Kalit flew into, merging together in a pillar of light into Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. Attribute. Dark. Level. 8. Card type. Effect Synchro Monster. Monster type. Winged Beast. Effect. 1 Blackwing Tuner plus 2 or more non-tuner monsters once per turn, you can destroy up to 2 monsters whose def is equal or less than the ATK of this card. If you use this effect, this card cannot attack during this turn. If a Blackwing monster you control would be destroyed, it is not destroyed. You can only activate this effect once per turn. ATK 2800, def 2000. Now say goodbye to those blue eyes, because Silverwind has a special ability of his own. Once per turn, I can destroy up to 2 monster whose defense are equal or less than Silverwind's attack points, that's a 300 point difference. Go Perfect Storm. Said Crow, much to Satsuki's shock and annoyance, as Silverwind unleashed blasts of wind that destroyed both of her blue eyes white dragons. Though this also means Silverwind can't attack this turn. So I'm gonna put one card face down and call it a turn. Said Crow while putting a card face down on the field, pleased he was able to take out the 2 dragons and now had the strongest monster on the field. Then it's my move again. Naruto said while drawing a card and adding it to his hand. And I'll start by revealing my set monster, Magician's Valkyria. Said Naruto as he changed his set monster to face-up attack position, revealing a third female magician. Magician's Valkyria. Attribute. Light. Level. 4. Card type. Effect Monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Effect. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target face-up spellcaster type monsters for attacks, except this one. ATK 1600, def 1800. Then I'm gonna play the spell card Shield and Sword, switching the attack and defense of all monsters out on the field for the rest of this turn. Said Naruto, playing his spell as his magicians and Silverwind had their attack and defense points swapped. Shield and Sword. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Switch the original ATK and def of all face-up monsters currently on the field until the end of this turn. Dark Magician Girl. ATK 2300, def 1700, ATK 2000, def 2000. Dark Magician Girl. ATK 2300, def 1700, ATK 2000, def 2000. Magician's Valkyria. ATK 1600, def 1800, ATK 1800, def 1600. Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. ATK 2800, def 2000, ATK 2000, def 2800. Next I'll equip my first Dark Magician Girl with Book of Secret Arts, giving her an extra 300 attack and defense. Naruto said as a spellbook appeared in front of Mana, which she grabbed and felt herself grow stronger. With Mana sticking her tongue out and pulling down her eyelid at Anna, pleased that she got the power boost, with the silver at merely rolling her eyes. Book of Secret Arts. Card type. Equip spell. Effect. A spellcaster type monster equipped with this card increases its ATK and def by 300 points. Dark Magician Girl. ATK 2000, def 2000, ATK 2300, def 2300. Now I play the spell card, Dainkido the Curse Master, giving us back 1000 life points. Said Naruto playing his spell card, much to Satsuki's relief as their life points went back up. NS 2500 plus 1000 equals 3500. Dainkido the Curse Master. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Increase your life points by 1000 points. Now go Dark Magician Girl, take out Silverwind the Ascendant with Dark Burning Attack. Said Naruto with Mana flying into the air, spinning her wand around before firing a blast of magic at Silverwind, destroying him and dealing some damage to Yusei and Crow. YC 5600, 300 equals 5300. You may have taken out my Silverwind, but that also triggered my trap, Black Thunder. Now you both will take 400 points of damage for every card you control, and right now I'm counting 6 for a total of 2400. Said Crow, making the former ninja's eyes widen as a bolt of black lightning shot out of the card and struck them. NS 3500, 2400 equals 1100. Really glad he played that spell. Thought Satsuki, knowing they nearly lost all their life points. Yeah, but I still have 2 monsters and you're out of cards. Go Dark Magician Girl, attack directly with Dark Burning Attack. Said Naruto with Anna immediately flying right at Yusei and Crow, swinging her wand as she unleashed a wave of dark magic that struck them, taking a large amount of their life points and knocking them both back. YC 5300, 2000 equals 3300. Oh man, that hurt way more than I thought it would. Said Crow, groaning as they got up. No kidding. Said Yusei while rubbing his head, not expecting to feel the attack that much. With Naruto, Satsuki and Mana looking at Anna pointedly while the Silverette merely looked away from them as she whistled innocently. Alright, Magician's Valkyria attack them directly, Mystic Scepter Blast. Naruto said, with Magician's Valkyria aiming her staff at them before firing a blast of magic, lowering Yusei's and Crow's life points even further. YC 3300, 1800 equals 1500. And I'll end my turn there. Said Naruto ending his turn, causing Anna's and Magician's Valkyria's attack and defense points to return to normal, while Mana kept her power boost as shield and swords effect wore off. Arc Magician Girl. ATK 2300, Def 2000, ATK 2600, Def 2000. Arc Magician Girl. ATK 2000, Def 2000, ATK 2300, Def 1700. Magician's Valkyria. ATK 1800, Def 1600, ATK 1600, Def 1800. I move then. And I better make it count. Said Yusei while adding the latter part mentally, knowing if he didn't get a good card, then they'll lose this duel. Drawing a card, Yusei looked at it and saw that it was exactly the card he'd need to let them win this. Alright, I'm sending one monster to my graveyard in order to special summon, Quickdraw Synchron. Yusei said while sending a monster to the grave before summoning Quickdraw Synchron. Quickdraw Synchron. Attribute. Wind. Level. 5. Card type. Effect Tuner Monster. Monster type. Winged Beast. Effect. You can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard and special summon this card from your hand. You can substitute this card for any one Synchron tuner for a synchro summon. ATK 700, Def 1400. And because Quickdraw was special summoned, I can still bring out my Sonic Chick to the field as well. Said Yusei as he brought Sonic Chick to the field. Sonic Chick. Attribute. Earth. Level. 1. Card type. Effect Monster. Monster type. Winged Beast. Effect. This card cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster that has 1900 or more ATK. ATK 300, Def 300. Finally the monster I just sent to the graveyard, I'm bringing them back, my Quillbolt Hedgehog. Yusei said as he brought back his discarded monster. Quillbolt Hedgehog. Attribute. Earth. Level. 2. Card type. Effect Monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. If you control a face-up tuner monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. If this card was summoned this way, remove it from play when it is removed from the field. ATK 800, Def 800. Thanks to Quillbolt Hedgehog's ability, I can bring them back from the graveyard as long as I have a tuner monster on the field. But my monsters won't be staying for long, at least not in their current forms, cause I'm tuning my Quickdraw Synchron with Sonic Chick and Quillbolt Hedgehog. Said Yusei, with Quickdraw turning into 5 rings which Sonic Chick and Quillbolt Hedgehog flew into, before it transformed into a pillar of light. I synchro summon Road Warrior. Yusei said as his monster appeared from the light and descended onto the field. Road Warrior. Attribute. Light. Level. 8. Card type. Effect Synchro Monster. Monster type. Warrior. Effect. Road Synchron plus 2 or more non-tuner monsters. Once per turn, you can special summon one level 2 or lower monster from your deck. ATK 3000, Def 3000. Alright. Way to go Yusei. Said Crow with a large grin on his face, knowing with that monster they'll be able to win the duel, something Naruto and Satsuki realized as well, since all Yusei needed to do was attack Magician's Valkyria and they'll lose. Well, you guys are definitely great duelists and this has been an awesome duel. Said Naruto, nodding at Yusei and Crow, accepting that they'd win the duel. Thanks, you two are impressive yourselves, especially those monsters you have. It's really been a duel to remember. Yusei replied as he nodded as well, having had his doubts that they'd be able to win after seeing the cards they had, but was glad they managed to pull through in the end. Yeah, and no hard feelings that we won alright guys. Crow added with a grin, excited at the chance to say he was able to go against Yugi's and Kaiba's apprentices and win. Oh, don't count your chickens yet, guys, and I would have thought that you of all people would know that I had a backup plan, Naruto. Even if it won't guarantee us victory. I'm playing my face down card," said Satsuki, revealing the face down card she's kept throughout the entire duel, making Yusei's and Crow's eyes widen when they saw what it was. While Naruto couldn't help but smirk at seeing what the face down card Satsuki had set was. Ring of Destruction. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. Destroy one face-up monster and inflict damage to both players equal to its ATK. A Ring of Destruction, take out Road Warrior. Satsuki said, as a metal collar with grenades attached appeared around Road Warrior's neck. The grenades then began glowing the moment the collar was attached, before exploding and destroying Road Warrior, while also inflicting damage to both teams equal to his attack points. NS 1100, 3000 equals 0. YC 1500, 3000 equals 0. If we can't beat you, then we can at least take you down with us. Satsuki said with a smirk as they deactivated their dual discs. Oh man, we were so close. Crow said, not believing it ended in a tie, but also couldn't be really disappointed since it was still an awesome duel. That was certainly unexpected, but also pretty clever. Keeping Ring of Destruction around and waiting for the right moment to use it, said Yusei as he shook Naruto's and Satsuki's hands. Yeah, I figured it'd be better to save it in case it looked like we were going to lose, that way we'd at least end it in a tie. Satsuki replied. By the way, could you finally explain how you both have those cards? Yusei asked, wanting to finally know how they had cards that should belong to Yugi Muto and Seto Kaiba, along with how Crow didn't seem surprised that they had them. We will, man. But you may want to sit down, it's a long story. Said Crow, with Yusei nodding as they all sat down before the former ninja and Blackwing duelist began telling Yusei everything. Later. That's unbelievable. They've been here this whole time, Yusei said in complete shock upon learning that Yugi and Kaiba have been living in satellite this entire time and no one's ever found out. No kidding, I've known for months now and even met them and I'm still having trouble believing it. Said Crow as he shook his head since the idea still seemed crazy, two of the most well-known people and most powerful duelists in the world living in a place like satellite. What are they even doing here, anyway? Why would they choose to live in the satellite? Asked Yusei while looking at Naruto and Satsuki, who both traded a look. It's not really our place to say since it's a personal matter. Satsuki replied, with the Uzumaki nodding in agreement. If you want to find out, you'll have to ask them yourselves. Added Naruto, with Yusei and Crow nodding at this, knowing it must be personal. Well, what are you two going to do? Yusei asked, wondering what they'd do, since with their decks, they'd be able to beat just about anyone in satellite. Yeah, I bet you two would become pro duelists instantly if you got to New Domino City. Probably even be able to knock Jack down a peg or two. Oh sorry Yusei. Crow said with a smirk before wincing at remembering what Jack did before he left, with Yusei waving it off. Who's Jack? Naruto asked, curious as to who that was. Jack Atlas, the so-called master of Faster and Yugi's successor as the king of games. He was our friend until he betrayed us to go to New Domino City and become famous. Crow replied with a frown at remembering what Jack did, with Naruto and Satsuki frowning at hearing this. What did he do? Questioned Satsuki, not liking to hear that Jack was their friend and betrayed them. It happened about a year ago, Jack tied up Raleigh and left him on a boat, he told me he was in trouble, and I went to save him. But when I arrived, Jack told me what he did and then made me choose, either save Raleigh or stop him. I chose to save Raleigh, while Jack stole the Duel Runner and my Stardust Dragon card. I've been working on another Duel Runner ever since to get to New Domino City and take back Stardust Dragon. Yusei explained while frowning, not even really mad at what Jack did, only upset since he intended for that Duel Runner and Stardust Dragon to help give people hope, not use it for his own personal gain. With Naruto and Satsuki frowning at this, now really not liking that Jack chose personal gain over his friends, though Satsuki couldn't deny that was the same thing she did. Choosing revenge over her friends and the village, which only made her like Jack even less since he reminded her of who she used to be. Well, I hope you managed to get there and get him back for what he did. But how do you even plan to get to New Domino City? There aren't any boats or bridges going there, and I doubt Duel Runners can be ridden across water or fly. Naruto said before glancing at Crow when he laughed slightly. I know, but there is a way to New Domino, it's a pipeline that connects the satellite and New Domino City. Though it's usually filled with trash every hour of every day, making it impossible to get through. But there is one moment it's empty, once a month at midnight, it's emptied for 3 minutes of automatic maintenance, with a hatch opening up to New Domino City. That'll be my ticket to getting into the city and getting to Jack, the only problem is that I have to make sure my Duel Runner is fast enough, otherwise I'll end up getting buried in trash. So before I can try it, I need to test out my runner once it's finished, while making sure it'll be able to get me through in time. Yusei explained. Naruto and Satsuki nodded at this, seeing he had a plan and knew what he needed to do, as well as working on a way to make that sure nothing went wrong. Though the former ninja did trade a look as they thought over their own personal questions. What did they want to do? Since while they were fine staying in the satellite, neither of them were sure they wanted to spend the rest of their lives here. Especially with this new information about New Domino City and a way to get there, intrigued at the chance to go there themselves. And since they really didn't have any ideas of what to do next, maybe they'll be able to find something by heading to New Domino City. The two looked at each other before nodding again, feeling determined and motivated to get to New Domino City as well. So, what did you think? Good. Yep, we see things start out rather dark as Kaguya has killed Kakashi and Sakura while capturing Naruto and Satsuki to remove their chakra and Kurama from the former, but rather than just kill them, Kaguya shows her love of her descendants by sending them to a different world so they don't interfere in her plans. With Naruto and Satsuki landing in the satellite where they're found by Yugi and Kaiba, given how Trudge was their classmate, it'd be likely they're still around while revealing they're in self-exile after the Zero Reverse incident. With them taking Naruto and Satsuki with them to get medical attention before going to the former ninja waking up and realizing what's happened, much to their horror and sadness. Then they meet Yugi and Kaiba, feigning having amnesia since couldn't tell them the truth since without chakra they didn't have proof, with the former duelists offering to let them stay until they recover and are ready to leave, which they accept. Before we get a time skip of their time in satellite, learning more about the world they're in including about duel monsters, which they learn how to play from Yugi and Kaiba, as well as inheriting some of their cards which they build their own decks around. Before we see them meet Crow while stealing cards from Sector Security, befriending him and the children he looks after, sharing some cards with them, as well as introducing them to Yugi and Kaiba. Then we get another time skip while learning that while they lost their chakra, Naruto and Satsuki gained the ability to see dual spirits and are psychic duelists, with Dark Magician Girl having taken a shine to Naruto, much to Satsuki's annoyance. While Crow introduces them to Yusei, leading into a tag duel between them, ending in a tie thanks to Satsuki using Ring of Destruction before telling Yusei everything. Finally we also see Naruto and Satsuki learning more about New Domino City and Jack and Yusei's plan to get there, giving them the determination to reach New Domino as well. So, for those that like the story, thanks for your support. For those that don't or at least don't like the direction taken, you're more than welcome to drop the story. But thanks for giving the story a chance anyway. Storm out. I own nothing. Moving through the water was a ship traveling towards the satellite from New Domino City. With ships only heading to the island to deliver trash to be processed, as well as criminals that have been sent to carry out their sentences in the satellite by working in the factories. Having only committed minor crimes rather than breaking the stricter laws that would have them sent to the facility. Though one passenger on the ship wasn't a criminal, instead having gotten themselves onto the ship in order to get to satellite. The passenger is a 15-year-old girl with a slim yet strong build, fair skin, big blue eyes and short red hair which she kept spiked up. With a redhead wearing black boots, detached red pinstripe pants legs, a matching red pinstripe crop top turtleneck, brown short shorts held up by a white belt which had 3 deck cases on it, a brown vest with 3 straps, one right above her breasts and 2 below them, white sleeves on her arms and a red headband around her forehead. I'll have to make sure to thank Blister again for getting me on this ship. The girl muttered, thankful that her mentor was able to get her on board the ship to the satellite before she reached into one of her deck cases and pulled out a card. Looking at the card with a sad yet determined expression on her face, the girl turned towards the satellite. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but if you're here then I will find you. I promise I will, Akiza. The girl mentally swore, knowing if her sister was hiding in the satellite, she won't stop looking until she finds her. Thinking about her sister caused her to start remembering better times when they were still together. Flashback. Colin, come on, you gotta hurry. Daddy will be home soon. Said an 8-year-old Akiza running into hers and her twin sister's Colin's room, finding Colin sitting at her desk with something on it. Huh? Colin, what's that? Akiza asked, finding a large wrapped present, with Colin smiling at her sister. It's your present, silly. Happy birthday, Akiza. Replied Colin while handing the gift to her sister, much to Akiza's surprise before she smiled brightly and hugged her sister. Thank you, Colin. Said Akiza, setting the present down and ran to their closest, pulling out another present before returning to her sister. Here. I wanted to wait until Daddy got back to give it to you, but I want you to have it now. Happy birthday, sis. Akiza said, making Colin smile and take the present. Thanks, Akiza. Now come on, we can open them when Daddy comes home. Colin said with Akiza nodding in agreement as they grabbed their presents and ran downstairs into the living room where their mother Satsuko was waiting with their cake on the coffee table. Glad to see you're both down here now. Happy birthday, my little roses. Satsuko said, smiling at her daughters before she hugged them, which both girls returned before they ran over to the table. "Mommy, when's daddy getting home? I wanna open our presents with him," Akiza said excitedly, while Satsuko winced slightly, knowing her husband's work made it so he wasn't home most of the time. "I'm sure he'll be home very soon and with his own presents for both of you," replied Satsuko, with Akiza nodding happily at this, while Colin had a small frown on her face. While she may be young, Colin could be surprisingly observant and knew their father could be gone for days, even weeks, due to his work. Something Colin didn't like, especially with how it upset Akiza, which is why she made sure to always do everything she can to make her sister happy. Though she smiled as well, hoping this time their father will be able to make it back on time. But as more time passed, that hope began fading before it faded away completely as the sun began setting and he still hadn't come home. Their mother had lit the candles on their cake and asked if they wanted to blow them out, with Akiza still wanting to wait for their father. "He's not coming, is he?" Akiza asked with tears in her eyes after more hours passed and their father still hadn't shown up, with the candles having since melted away entirely. "I'm sure he tried his best, Akiza, he just works a lot," Colin said, wrapping an arm around her sister, with Akiza sniffling and shaking her head. "I don't care. Daddy should be here, he promised he'd be here. But he broke his promise," said Akiza, hurt and upset their father didn't show up, making Colin frown before smiling and grabbing the present she got for Akiza. "Here, open it," said Colin, knowing her present will help cheer up her sister. But I wanted to wait until daddy got back," Akiza said, having wanted to wait for their father before opening their presents. "Well, I want you to open it, please Akiza. I'm sure you'll really like it," Colin said, looking at her sister hopefully, with her twin soon nodding and took the gift. "Oh okay Colin," said Akiza, setting it on her lap and began opening it before gasping in surprise and joy when she saw that it was a dual disc, with it being a pinkish red color with purple gems. "What do you think? A rose dual disc for the best rose in the garden," said Colin, smiling at her sister, happy when Akiza smiled brightly and hugged her. "I love it. Thank you sis," Akiza said, her earlier sadness being forgotten, replaced with joy at having her own dual disc. With her happiness only growing when she saw it wasn't just a dual disc in the box, but 3 monster cards as well. The cards being Queen Angel of Roses, Fallen Angel of Roses and Rosaria, the stately Fallen Angel. "Sorry it's only 3 cards sis, I hope you still like them," Colin said, having wanted to get Akiza an entire deck to go with her dual disc, but she could only get 3 cards. "I love them, Colin. I'll always use them when I have a deck of my own," replied Akiza, hugging her sister, not caring if it's only 3 cards, she loved them just like her new dual disc. "Here. Open yours now too," Akiza said, wanting Colin to open her gift as well, the girl smiling and took the gift. Opening her gift, Colin's smile grew bigger at seeing that Akiza had also gotten her a dual disc, though hers was the standard coloring rather than anything different. Sorry it's not unique like the one you got for me and I didn't get you any cards, but I ho," Akiza said shyly, feeling her gift is inferior to the one Colin got for her since it's just a regular dual disc, only to be cut off when Colin hugged her tightly. "It doesn't matter, I love it Akiza, thank you," said Colin, smiling at her sister which Akiza returned, happy her sister loved her gift. "And why don't we keep waiting, daddy will probably be here any minute now," Colin said, knowing her sister still wanted to wait for their father. "Yeah. He'll be here any minute," said Akiza in agreement, feeling hopeful and happy again with her new gifts. And flashback. "We stayed awake the entire night, but he never showed up until we were already asleep," thought Colin bitterly, remembering how Akiza began crying again that their father didn't show up until she fell asleep in her arms, having refused to let go and do her best to comfort her twin. They'd woken up the next morning to find their father had put them in bed, along with leaving them the presents he got them, starter packs of dual monster cards. With Akiza having been ecstatic to have her own deck to go with her new dual disc. And while Colin was also happy to have her own deck, she still didn't forget how their father never showed up. Which only got worse when they went downstairs to see their father just about to leave again, with Akiza wanting to have a duel with him. Only to learn he'd be gone for a month on some new project, something that made her sister cry again and run back to their room, saying she hated him. Colin went after her and comforted Akiza like she always did, while offering to duel her as many times as she wanted, something that helped improve Akiza's mood. Though things did start getting better when their father dueled with them whenever he got the chance, which really made Akiza happy, and even Colin was starting to forget all the lost time. Both of the girls proved to be very talented as well in dueling, showing more skill than one would expect from 2 8-year-old girls. The twins had very been excited at this, believing they'd be able to become pro duelists when they were older. Until that day though Colin, her expression turning grim at remembering when everything started going downhill. Flashback. "Come on, you can do it Akiza," Colin cheered her sister, she and their mother watching as Akiza and their father dueled each other with her having a face down on her side of the field, while their father had just special summoned Samsara Lotus from the graveyard. Samsara Lotus. Attribute. Dark. Level. 1. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Plant. Effect. During your end phase, if you control no spell or trap cards, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in face-up attack position. This card's controller takes 1000 damage during each of their standby phases. ATK 0, Def 0. My turn, Dad. And I play Rose Flame. Akiza said with a smile while activating her face down. Rose Flame. Card type. Continuous trap. Effect. Each time a plant-type monsters is summoned to your opponent's side of the field, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. But this it means that you said Akiza only to stop when her father's phone began ringing, while Colin frowned when he answered it. No he wouldn't it, not now. Thought Colin, not thinking he'd do this in the middle of a duel. It's me what the reactor, you sure I'll be right there. Said Yugioh, making Akiza's and Colin's eyes widen that he was actually going to leave. Oh I'm sorry my sweet little Rose, but Daddy has an emergency at work and has to head back. Yugioh said apologetically, but he needed to leave. But our duel. Akiza said, shaking as she felt a growing pain in her head and her arm. I'll make it up to you as soon as I can. Akiza. Yugioh said in an assuring tone, only to stop when he could see a change in his daughter's disposition. Akiza. Are you alright? Questioned Colin worriedly before Akiza looked up with a dark look in her eyes. Akiza is gone. I play Rose Flame. Said Akiza before a rush of violet flames and rose petals shot out of the card and struck Yugioh, sending him crashing into the wall, much to his, Colin's and Satsuko's shock and horror. Yugioh cried out as he hit the wall and fell to the floor, while Akiza came back to her senses, only to see what had happened. Talk to me sweetheart. Satsuko said in concern for her husband before they looked at Akiza in shock and slight fear. What did you do? Yugioh said, not believing what his daughter just did, with Akiza unable to respond before a crimson light shined on her arm, crying out in pain at a burning sensation coming from it. Ah. My arm. Akiza cried out, holding her arm as it glowed, scared and confused at what was happening. Akiza. Said Colin in worry, running up to her sister to make sure she was alright, only for her eyes to widen at seeing a red claw mark on her arm. Colin, get away from her. Satsuko said, not wanting her daughter to get hurt. No. She needs help. Colin retorted, refusing to leave her sister's side, as Akiza looked at the mark in fear and panic. What's going on Daddy? Make it go away please Daddy. Help me. Akiza said pleadingly with tears in her eyes as she went towards her parents. Don't come any closer. How did you do that to me Akiza? What's wrong with you? Yugioh said in fear, not wanting Akiza to come any closer after what she just did. There's nothing wrong with her. She didn't know what she was doing and she's scared. Colin said, glaring at him for thinking something was wrong with her sister. It wasn't natural Colin. People shouldn't be able to do things like that. She's a monster. Said Yugioh without thinking, only to realize what he just said, while Akiza looked devastated at what he just called her. No she's not. You're the monster for calling her that. For never being around and hurting her. Akiza's my sister, that's what she is, and I won't let you call her that. Said Colin while standing in front of Akiza, with her twin having tears in her eyes. I'm a monster. Akiza said in fear and heartbreak her father saw her as a monster, only for Colin to pull her into a hug. You're not a monster Akiza, you're nothing like a monster or anything else. Said Colin, holding her sister tightly as she cried. I didn't mean that Akiza. You just scared me. Yugioh said, which only made Akiza cry harder while Colin glared at him. Why don't you go to work? That's all you really care about. Colin said before gently guiding her sister to their room, where they could be alone. Then flashback. Since then, Akiza's powers only grew stronger with Colin doing her best to help her sister to control them, but what she really wanted was their parents' help. Only for them to be too afraid of her, which made her powers even more uncontrollable. Remembering when Akiza scared away some kids when she summoned Gigaplant, when their father actually smacked her on the cheek. That was something Colin never forgave and had shoved their father away and comforted Akiza again as she cried, believing she really was a monster. Eventually reaching the point their parents decided to send her away to the new Domino City Duel Academy, thinking they could help her control her powers. With Colin going with Akiza, refusing to leave her sister behind, despite their parents' protests. Only Duel Academy didn't help, instead everyone else became scared of her, making Akiza's powers grow more uncontrollable. With Colin being the only one who stayed by her side no matter what, beating anyone talked bad about her twin either in a duel or with her fists. That's when we got our own pair of twins when things started to look better. Thought Colin, looking down at the card in sadness. Flashback. Colin ran around Duel Academy looking for her sister, a large smile on her face, after having found something she really hoped would be able to cheer up Akiza. Eventually finding her sitting under a tree alone. "Akiza," Colin said, running up to her sister, making Akiza look up and saw her sister before smiling slightly at her. "Colin, hey. Did something happen? You look excited about something," said Akiza, looking at her sister curiously with Colin nodding as she sat down beside her. "Yep, something did happen. I just found the best card that'll be perfect for your deck," Colin said happily at her find. "Colin, you really don't have to keep doing that. You've already helped me enough with my deck, I don't want you getting me more cards," Akiza replied, shaking her head, having gotten plenty of help from her sister in creating her plant rose deck and didn't want her to keep buying more cards for her. "Besides, it'll just be something else I'll hurt P, Akiza said sadly, knowing hardly anyone even duels her anymore out of fear of getting her, with only her sister not being afraid. Only to be silenced when Colin covered her mouth with a finger, giving her twin a stern look, refusing to hear her talk badly about herself. Before pulling out the card she'd found, with it catching Akiza's interest as she took the card. "Black Rose Dragon?" Akiza asked, having never seen a card like it before or heard of it, only to be surprised when Colin pulled out a second card. "And Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. I found them while getting cards and I knew they'd be perfect for us," said Colin while smiling softly at Akiza. "It may sound stupid, but seeing these cards reminded me of us, twins that are unique and are incredibly strong, but also stick together no matter what happens or who tries getting between them. And then I thought, with these we'd always be by each other's sides even when we're separated, we'll know the other is with us," Colin said as Akiza looked at her with wide eyes. "Colin," Akiza said, feeling touched at her sister's words, before Colin wrapped an arm around her shoulder. "I don't care what anyone says about you, Akiza, you aren't a monster, a freak or a witch. You're my sister and I love you, that's something that will never change. And even if I'm not by your side, as long as you have Black Rose Dragon, I'll always be with you, just like you'll always be with me, as long as I have Moonlight Dragon," said Colin, while Akiza felt tears start falling from her eyes only for them to be wiped away. "And from now on, I want you to always remember, even if the world chooses to believe you're a monster because of your powers or some mark on your arm, know that I'll be there standing beside you through it all. Ready to take down anyone that thinks they can insult my smart, funny, kind, and amazing sister. And even if I don't have powers like you do, I will always be there to help you learn to control them, to be able to use your gifts however you want to. Understand?" Colin said, smiling at Akiza, who threw her arms around her sister and cried softly on her shoulder. "Oh okay, I understand. Thank you Colin FO for everything and STST staying with me," said Akiza, thankful to have Colin as her sister, to know she had someone who loved and cared about her unconditionally, who saw her psychic abilities as a gift rather than a curse or seeing her as a witch. "Always, no matter what," replied Colin, holding her sister, knowing she won't let anything or anyone hurt Akiza ever again. Then flashback. Akiza started getting better after that, she was happier like when they were younger, even beginning to gain some control over her abilities. But it didn't last as people still feared her, avoided her, and made her fully aware they didn't want her around. And that no matter what she did or how hard she tried, they'd still see Akiza as a monster, as the witch they believed she was. Even Colin's support wasn't enough until it reached the point when Akiza ran away from Duel Academy to go back home. With Colin not learning about this until after it happened and Akiza was gone. And what were our dear parents doing while their daughter was bullied and ridiculed? How did they feel sending her away to some place that didn't understand her? To live their lives without their monster daughter around anymore? Colin thought in anger at remembering what happened when she returned home to try and find Akiza. Flashback. "Akiza!" Colin shouted, rushing inside her home, quickly looking around for her sister before running upstairs to their room to see if she was there, only to find it empty. "Colin? Colin?" said Satsuko after hearing her daughter, not expecting her to suddenly come home from Duel Academy. "Yeah, hi, I'm back. Where's Akiza? Is she here?" questioned Colin, running past her mother to search the rest of the house. "Colin, stop for a moment. What happened, isn't Akiza at Duel Academy?" Satsuko asked, hoping that Akiza had returned to Duel Academy after she came home only to see her and her husband. "No, she isn't. Please, you have to help find her," Colin said, desperate to find Akiza and make sure she's alright, only to stop when her father entered the house. "Colin," said Yugioh in surprise that she's here, with Colin looking at him coldly, still remembering the time he hit Akiza and called her monster before then shipping her off to Duel Academy. "Finally making time to be home now that Akiza and I aren't around. How nice," said Colin coldly, only to narrow her eyes when her parents flinched at the mention of Akiza. "What happened?" Colin said, seeing they knew something about Akiza. We didn't mean for it to happen, sweetheart, honest. Akiza, she just, Satsuko said, trying to find the right words, but couldn't think of anything. Just what? What happened and where is my sister? Demanded Colin, wanting to know where her twin was. We don't know. Akiza, she showed up the other night and she saw me and your mother having dinner, laughing. Said Yugioh with regret, lacing his tone at what happened, having tried searching for Akiza but couldn't find her anywhere. Hearing this made Colin freeze while her eyes widened before her expression immediately cold again and went to leave the house. Wait Colin, please don't leave. Satsuko said beggingly, not wanting both her daughters to leave. Colin, we're sorry. We didn't mean for it to happen. Please, just let us help. Said Yugioh, only for the two to recoil when Colin turned and glared at them. You're sorry. You didn't mean for it to happen. You want to help. Where was this help when Akiza was a scared little girl who didn't understand her powers? When were you sorry for hitting Akiza when she was just upset and lashing out for support? When did you not mean to simply ship her off so you could have your own happy lives? Colin shouted before activating her dual disc. You saw her as a monster, never once trying to help her understand the power she had, nor showing her that you still loved her. Well, here's a real monster for you to be scared of. Said Colin before placing Black Rose Moonlight Dragon on her dual disc. The dragon appeared behind her, letting out a loud roar, much to her parents' shock, only for it to turn into fear when Moonlight Dragon unleashed powerful winds and rose petals that sliced through the ground and shattered windows. With Yugioh and Satsuko shielding themselves from the attack and debris being thrown about. Only uncovering themselves once it stopped, seeing the dragon had vanished with Colin still glaring at them. Though Colin winced when she felt a burning sensation in her arm, looking at it her eyes widened when she saw a red claw mark on her arm, the same as the one Akiza had. I guess you had two monsters as daughters then. Now you have none. Said Colin, denouncing them as her parents before turning around and leaving. Then flashback. Colin had dropped out of Duel Academy afterwards, though not before getting in a duel with some of Akiza's old bullies, who she ended up mutilating with her newly awakened powers. Along with officially getting herself emancipated and changing her last name Kazuki. Despite her now former parents begging her not to leave, she didn't care what they wanted anymore, not after what they did. The only thing she cared about was finding her sister. She searched everywhere in New Domino City to find Akiza, only to come up empty-handed, leading Colin to start searching the less pleasant parts of the city. All while getting by taking part in underground dueling, both as a means to support herself and see if she can gather information on Akiza. Which is also where she met Blister. Flashback. All of them are useless. Thought Colin as she left the Damon area after finishing some duels against some loud mouths that thought they could beat her due to how young she is. Only to be proven wrong when Colin beat them all at the same time with little effort before questioning them on if they'd seen Akiza. Using some of her psychic abilities to make sure they answered her, only to once again come up empty-handed, much to her annoyance. Where could she be? She has to be here, somewhere. Colin thought, starting to wonder if Akiza is even in New Domino City anymore or if she left entirely. If that was the case, then Colin was worried that she may never see her sister again. Aren't a little young to be here alone? Someone said, pulling the reed from her thoughts and turned to see who it was. Seeing it was a young man with an unkempt appearance, sporting stubble. He also has short brown hair and brown eyes. His attire consists of a sleeveless green jacket with a ripped design along the shoulders which he wears over a long-sleeved white shirt. He also wears brown pants with two belts, one of which has a deck box attached. What do you want? Another duelist looking to get their ass kicked? Retorted Colin, activating her dual disc with the man raising his hands. Relax, I'm not a duelist, not anymore at least. The name's Blister. Introduced Blister, having been out getting parts for his gadgets before noticing Colin and couldn't help his curiosity at seeing a young girl out here alone. Fine Blister, you introduced yourself, now leave me alone. Colin said, deactivating her disc as she went to leave. You didn't answer my question, kid. What are you doing here by yourself? Blister asked, making Colin look at him in annoyance. First, I'm not a kid, I'm 14. And second, if you must know, I'm looking for someone. Said Colin, not liking to be called a kid, especially when she and Akiza looked older than their actual age, proving themselves to be early bloomers. Okay. And what about a family, wouldn't your parents be worried about you going off all by your lonesome? Said Blister, only for Colin's expression to turn cold. I don't have parents, not anymore, not after they lost any and all right to refer to themselves as such. The only family that I now have is my sister, who I'm trying to find. Colin said, making Blister frown and rub her chin before sighing. Alright, I normally don't do stuff like this, but how about I lend you hand? Since from what I saw back there, you're not likely to find anything by just dueling people into submission and demanding answers. And luckily for you, I happen to be a jack of all trades kind of guy and have my share of connections and resources. Blister said, willing to help her try to find her sister, making Colin narrow her eyes at him. "And what would you expect in return?" said Colin, willing to try anything if it meant a chance to find her sister, but doubted he's offering to help her for free. "An extra pair of hands to help around," replied Blister with a shrug, since he could do with some help every now and then. "And these connections you have could help me find my sister?" Colin asked, with the man shrugging again. "If not find where she is, then definitely some leads on where she could be," Blister answered, the Redeed frowning for a few moments until she eventually nodded. "Fine, I'll help you out with whatever it is you do, as long as you help me find my sister," Colin said, with Blister nodding before motioning her to follow him. "Great. Now come on, my place isn't far from here. What's your name anyway, along with your sister's name?" Blister asked. "Her name is Akiza Izinski, and my name is Colin Kmizuki," introduced Colin, while spitting out her formerly family name as if it were venom as they made their way to Blister's apartment. Then flashback. Blister had kept his word and spoke with all his contacts for any information about Akiza, and in return, Colin helped him in building his gadgets and equipment. Even being taught how to build some stuff herself, as well as making some changes to her duel disc, allowing her to carry it around more easily. And despite no longer dueling or wanting anything to do with it, Blister had also taught Colin some tips and tricks regarding duel monsters as well. Something she was thankful for, as it gave Colin the chance to improve her dueling skills and abilities outside of what she already knew. Having even adopted the Machina archetype that he and Arrow used as tag team duelists. With Colin having also built 2 more decks to use as a means to make sure opponents didn't become familiar with her strategies. Her other 2 decks were the Railway archetype with some rares as monsters and had the Gun Dragons archetype included in it. While her 3rd deck consisted of the Mecha Phantom Beast archetype. Now Colin was heading to the satellite in the hopes of finding her sister there, or more specifically the Black Rose Witch she's heard about. Having heard rumors in her underground duels about another duelist that's been making a name for themselves, one that people were calling a witch. Saying that she could make her cards come to life and inflict real damage to her opponents. With everyone calling her the Black Rose Witch. What really had Colin's attention though, was that apparently the Black Rose Witch's signature card was Black Rose Dragon, a card she knew only Akiza had. Leading her to believe the Black Rose Witch was really Akiza, likely having been pushed over the edge after being alone for so long. Making the Redeed feel intense guilt and self-loathing, believing she failed her sister to the point that she's now accepted being the witch everyone believed her to be. Only making her more determined to find Akiza and apologize for not being there for her more, as well as not finding her sooner. Unfortunately, any attempts to find the Black Rose Witch have ended in failure, since any sightings of her are little more than rumors. While anyone that's actually seen the Black Rose Witch only says she appears out of nowhere and vanishes just as quickly, having no idea where she goes. All of this made Colin wonder if her sister was staying in New Domino City at all, since with her psychic powers, she'd be able to move around much more quickly and easily than normal people. Before she then thought of the one place she never even considered looking for Akiza in. Satellite. Thought Colin, looking towards the island while clenching her fists, knowing that if there's one place one would go without worry of being found, it's here. Redeed believed her sister was somewhere on the island city and she wouldn't stop, not until she searched every inch of it to find her. Unknown location. Meanwhile, in one of the gang hideouts in Satellite, one would be able to see the site of a massacre of all the gang members that had been using it as their hideout. All of them looking to have had the life sucked out of them, leaving behind empty, dried up husks. With only one of the gang members still being alive and crawling backwards, away from their opponent. No, 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 no. Please, I surrender. Take my deck, take any cards you want, just please let me, the gang member pleaded, only to scream in pure agony and panic when he was hit with a blast of shadows and dark energy. Oh, but I am letting you go. I'm letting you take a one-way trip straight to the underworld, said his opponent as the gang member screamed before he was silenced when his dual energy and life force was ripped out of him, leaving an empty husk like the rest. While his opponent was a young man, wearing a black and red organic-looking bodysuit as well as a silver helmet covered with dark glass, hiding his face from view. And his left arm was a unique-looking dual disc, having a black body with red edging and shaped like a cog, a blue gem with a black slit making it look like an eye, and the blade being shaped like 2 conjoined wings with 5 card zones and another blue eye-like gem in the middle. And behind the masked duelist was the silhouette of a gigantic monster whose body seemed to be made of smoke like darkness, along with glowing yellow eyes. The monster roared as it absorbed the dual energy and life force of the last gang member before vanishing. While the duelist deactivated his dual disc, causing the cog-like body to begin rotating as the wings separated before folding on themselves and into the body. How pathetic, you weaklings weren't even a decent snack for me. TSK, Roman better start finding me stronger duelists or I'll find them myself. said the duelist in annoyance at not being satisfied with going after gang members, wanting to actually get a challenge from his opponents before devouring their energy. With him remembering why he's even targeting duelists in the first place and how he came to be as well. Flashback. Standing on a bridge suspended over a large pit filled with dark energy was a man with spiky white hair, tanned skin, red markings on his face, 2 vertical lines on his forehead above his eyes, 2 longer lines below his eyes that went down to his chin and had 2 protruding lines at the top, making them resemble F's and a dot in the center of his chin between the lines, and pale blue eyes with black sclera. With his attire consisting of black boots, black gloves, black pants, a black sleeveless shirt and a black cloak, all of which were decorated with red lines on them. The man stared into the pit for a few moments before pulling out a card, which he then tossed into the pit before crossing his arms and waited to see what will happen. For a few moments nothing happened until the energy in the pit seemed to start pulsing and glowing a dark bluish purple. Before the energy began rising up as suddenly a loud roar came from the pit that shook the entire area. While the man gritted his teeth and covered his ears, only to grab his arm in pain when a purple spider mark began glowing underneath his glove. Though his attention turned back to the pit when a stream of darkness shot up from it and crashed on top of the bridge. The darkness soon faded away, revealing a young man, going by his body frame, wearing a black and red organic-looking bodysuit and a silver helmet covered with dark glass, hiding his face from view. "Interesting, and who might you be?" said the man, narrowing his eyes at the masked boy, who rolled his neck and turned to face him. "You should know. After all, just a few moments ago, you threw me down there expecting to infuse me with the power of the underworld. And I must say, I have to thank you, Roman, this is quite the experience," the boy said, making the now named Roman narrow his eyes further. "You know my name?" Roman stated, while the boy simply nodded. "I know lots of things. But what I don't know is, what do you want from me?" questioned the boy as he walked up to Roman. "I had hoped to create a card infused with the power of the underworld and give it to a duelist, one that would be able to deal with any anomalies that may prove a threat to our plans. Instead you were created," replied Roman, given how one of his spiders had recently informed him that Yugioh and Seto Kaiba had come out of their self-imposed exile, all while taking a boy and girl that seemingly appeared out of nowhere as their students, with the boy chuckling darkly before holding up his left arm. "Instead I was created, giving you someone much better than a human duelist. And luckily for you, I'm starving," the boy said as a dual disc formed on his left arm, surprising Roman slightly before he nodded at seeing this. "So it would seem. Then go, hunt down and destroy all duelists that would get in our way," Roman said, the boy nodding as he moved past Roman. "One more thing, I'm not just the monster, I'm something more. So for future reference, call me Vanitas," said Vanitas before he left, eager to begin hunting duelists. And flashback. Since then, he's been taking out any duelists he came across, defeating them all before then devouring their life force and dual energy to satisfy his hunger, as well as increasing his power. But now Vanitas was getting tired of taking out gangs, wanting to get a real challenge and more power. To reach a level that would allow him to rival, if not surpass, entities such as the Egyptian gods and those of similar power. Hearing a growl coming from his deck, Vanitas took out his card, seeing his other self was also getting impatient and wanted duelists that can satisfy them. "Don't worry, I'm sure we'll be finding some half-decent duelists soon once we've dealt with the weaklings. And if there aren't any here, then we have an entire city to devour," said Vanitas, returning the card to his deck as he left the hideout to hunt down some more duelists. Yusei's hideout. Within Yusei's hideout, Yusei and Kaiba were both working on the former's duel runner, while nearby Naruto and Yugi were in the middle of a practice duel. As the others, aside from Crow who was looking after the kids today, were watching in awe with starstruck expression that they were seeing the first king of games dueling. And seeing several of his ace cards being used as well. Though the deck Yugi was using was the one he'd used against Atem during the ceremonial duel, given the cards Naruto inherited from him were the ones Atem used and Yugi himself was known for using. Despite having long since developed his own deck separate from the pharaohs, the cards like Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl were the ones he's most known for. As for his deck, Yugi had since made improvements to it, having originally made it solely to defeat Atem, but has now refined and improved it. The duel having gone back and forth for a little, until Naruto gained the advantage by summoning Magician of Black Chaos, while equipping him with a Sword of Dark Destruction and Mist Body, increasing its attack to 3200, at the cost of decreasing its defense to 2400. All while Mist Body would protect Magician of Black Chaos from being destroyed by battle, along with having some trap set for anything Yugi would have. Only for the former king of games to turn things around when he managed to destroy Naruto's back row before summoning his Gandora X the Dragon of Demolition. Destroying his magician and taking out a large part of his life points, then wiping out the rest when his dragon attacked Naruto directly. Oh man. That was so awesome. Rally said in amazement and excitement to see a duel like that, being able to see firsthand why Yugi is still considered one of the greatest duelists in the world. I know, I bet even Jack wouldn't stand a chance against Yugi. Said Tank with a large smile on his face. Please, even Jack's Red Dragon Archfiend wouldn't stand a chance against those Gandora dragons, they'd take it out the moment they're summoned. Blitz stated, liking the idea of Jack getting taken down by Yugi. Don't underestimate him. I know that none of you have the highest opinion of Jack, but he's a true duelist and earned his titles despite the methods he used to get them. Yugi said, having heard what Jack did, and while he's disappointed the new king of games used such methods to reach the top, he's seen that Jack is still a powerful duelist. As for you Naruto, you've gotten much better since you've begun dueling more often. Give it some time and I'm sure you'll be defeating me in no time. Said Yugi, smiling at his student, which Naruto returned and nodded. Thanks Yugi, but I know I still have a lot to learn before that happens. Naruto replied before their attention turned to Satsuki, who just arrived in the hideout while carrying a large basket. Well, you can learn stuff later, since lunch is here. Said Satsuki, getting everyone's attention as the Uchiha set down the basket, with everyone going over to eat, including Yusei and Kaiba after taking a break from their work. Nice. Your cooking is amazing Satsuki. Naruto said, making the Uchiha blush before looking away from the blonde Uzumaki. Oh of course it is, Yusurat and Kachi. I learned everything I know from my mother and later Martha after we were introduced to her by Crow. Satsuki exclaimed while managing to get control of herself, her and Naruto, having begun remembering aspects of their past life, while having to take some liberties to make things more believable for the others. Only for her blush to return and intensify as she slapped both of her hands over her mouth at what she just said. All while Naruto and the others couldn't help but laugh at her verbal tick. So you say, how's the duel runner coming along? Nervin asked, having decided to take pity on Satsuki and change the topic as he looked at the junk duelist, wondering how the duel runner was coming since Kaiba began helping him a month ago. It's going good, even better than before thanks to Kaiba's help. At this rate, I should be able to start test running it within the next 3 months at the latest. Replied Yusei, glad for the help since with Kaiba helping him, his duel runner will be ready that much sooner. Don't sell yourself short Yusei, you would have likely had it done and operational in a few months on your own. The programming just needed a few touch-ups, so the runner would be able to handle the speed you need to get it at. Kaiba said, not doubting that Yusei would have been able to finish his duel runner without any help, he's just making the process go faster. Thanks, but I still appreciate everything you've helped me with. And not just with the duel runner. Yusei said while looking down with a frown, thinking back to when Naruto and Satsuki first introduced them to Yugi and Kaiba. Flashback. Why yo Yugi, muto on and cccc do ka Kaiba. Rally stuttered in shock and disbelief as he, Tank, Nervin, Blitz and Yusei stared in shock at seeing two legendary duelists. While Yusei had been told about them after his and Crow's duel against Naruto and Satsuki, it was still a shock to see them in person. How do you two know them? Said Nervin to Naruto and Satsuki, shocked that they somehow knew Yugi and Kaiba. We met them when we first arrived in Satellite, they helped us out and they've been teaching us how to play duel monsters. Naruto replied, the Uchiha nodding in agreement. And we asked Kaiba if he'd be willing to help Yusei with his duel runner and he agreed. Added Satsuki, much to their shock. It's nice to meet you all. Yugi said, holding out his hand which they hesitantly shook. It's an honor to meet you both, as well Mr. Muto, Mr. Kaiba. Said Blitz shakily, making the former king of games chuckle lightly. Please just Yugi is fine. Yugi said, having never cared much for formalities. Thank you for willing to help me sir, it really means a lot. Said Yusei to Kaiba, stunned that he's meeting two legendary duelists and getting help in building his runner from one as well. Though he thought something was wrong when Kaiba looked at him with narrowed eyes. Dr. Fudo? Kaiba said, which only confused the group aside from Yugi, who looked at Yusei before his eyes widened at remembering what Kaiba told him about those that worked on the inner D reactor. My last name is Fudo, but I'm definitely not a doctor. Yusei said, making Kaiba look at him intently before recognition dawned on him. Sorry, you just look very similar to someone I knew. And I think I know why, if it's alright Yusei, I'd like for you to speak with us in private. Said Kaiba, which only confused Yusei and his friends even more, while Yugi nodded in agreement as Naruto and Satsuki realized what they wanted to talk to him about. Okay. Said Yusei, nodding to his friends that he'll be back soon before following Yugi, Kaiba, Naruto and Satsuki out of the subway. What did you want to talk about? Yusei asked once they were outside and in a private spot, all of them sitting down on anything they could. It's a long story, but it does concern you Yusei. Specifically your father, who worked on the original inner D reactor. revealed Yugi, much to Yusei's shock at hearing this, before Yugi and Kaiba began telling him about the Zero Reverse incident. About how his father was the lead developer in the Inner D reactor, having researched what's known as planetary particles which were needed in the development of the Inner D technology. Only for things to go wrong when the reactor overloaded and exploded, causing the Zero Reverse incident and the creation of the satellite. I'm from New Domino City. I wasn't born in the satellite. Yusei said in complete shock upon learning he's originally from New Domino City and that his father was the man who created the Inner D reactor, which caused so much destruction. Yes, I know it's a lot to take in, but I believe you have the right to know. The only other ones we've told are Naruto and Satsuki. Kaiba said, making Yusei turn to them as the former ninja nodded in response. This is a lot to take in, it's something I never would have expected to know. But it also means I have another reason to get to New Domino City so I can find what happened. Said Yusei, wanting to know more about his origins and his father's research to figure out what caused the Zero Reverse incident. And we'll be there to help, Yusei. Naruto stated, getting his attention while Satsuki nodded in agreement. Naruto's right. Whatever happened to cause the Zero Reverse, it's not something to handle alone. You'll need help and we'll make sure to be there to get answers. Added Satsuki, both of them wanting to help their new friend in getting answers to his past and father's research. Thanks guys, that really means a lot. And something's telling me that I'll need all the help I can get on this. Yusei said, looking down with a frown while feeling that whatever happened, it's something dangerous. Then flashback. So, I heard a few rumors while I was out. Several gangs have been getting taken out, only whoever is doing it isn't just beating them, they're leaving empty husks of those they beat. Said Satsuki, getting everyone's attention, with Rally, Tank, Blitz and Nervin paling upon hearing this. The empty, Chuhu husks? Tank asked, with Satsuki nodding. Like the life's been sucked out of them. The person doing it also seems to only be interested in doing that, since all their decks were left on the bodies. Satsuki replied, making Naruto, Yugi, Kaiba and Yusei frown at hearing this. Think it's a shadow duelist or another psychic duelist? Asked Naruto since that seemed like the only explanation, well both of them had told the others they were psychic duelists and could see dual spirits. Something they were skeptical about until they gave them proof by showing some of their abilities, freaking them out a little, but they still accepted Naruto and Satsuki. It's more likely a shadow duelist. One who may have access to a very powerful card that can absorb dual energy and life force. Said Yugi with a frown, not liking the idea of such a duelist running around the satellite. Can cards even do that? Yusei asked, having never heard of cards that powerful, while Naruto, Satsuki, Yugi and Kaiba nodded. There are such cards capable of doing that. The last time we heard of cards like that were the sacred beasts sealed underneath the original Duel Academy. They could only be summoned by absorbing the energy from dual spirits. Well prior to that was the Doma organization as well as the Paradise Corporation that served as its cover with how they utilized a field spell known as the Seal of Orichalcos. Which not only fed on and amplified the inner darkness of those who used it but also had the ability to take the souls of whoever loses the duel. For this shadow duelist to have a card that can absorb the life force from humans, it's definitely a dangerous card with it most likely being similar in nature to the Seal of Orichalcos. Said Kaiba, frowning as well, before Naruto and Satsuki saw Mana and Ana appear. We've actually been sensing the presence of another dual spirit on the island, but we haven't been able to find where they are. As if they're either hiding their presence from us or something is keeping them from being sensed. Mana said in worry, knowing only the most of powerful dual spirits could hide their presences like that. Either way, this dual spirit clearly isn't friendly. And from what little we've sensed from them, said Ana, shivering slightly as the only thing they felt was pure darkness and hunger for more power and destruction. It honestly made both magicians feel physically ill from the malice and darkness they could feel from the spirit, not thinking any dual spirit could feel that twisted. But the former ninja frowning at this before telling the others what Mana and Ana said, making them all nod. Coming to an agreement to watch their back and stay safe, along with making sure to not go off alone anywhere. Time skip one day. The next day, Naruto woke up only to feel a weight on his chest, making the Uzumaki look only to be shocked to see a familiar head of silver hair. Before he was embarrassed at seeing not only was Ana fully manifested in his feuding with him, but she was naked as well. Trying to remain calm, Naruto carefully began moving to get out of Ana's hold, only to freeze when she tightened her arms around him. Leaving so soon, lover? Ana asked while looking up at Naruto with a sly smirk on her face. And Ana. I thought we were ass stuttered Naruto, only to fall silent when Ana sat up, letting the blanket fall off exposing her naked body to the whiskered blonde. With Naruto unable to help but look her up and down, seeing her long silver hair falling down her back and chest, just barely covering her CC cup, low D cup, breasts, toned stomach and bare snatch. The Uzumaki's embarrassment only growing when Anna threw one leg over his and straddled his waist. Thought I was sleeping. Sorry, but sleep is the last thing on my mind right now. But you wanna know what is? Said Anna as she leaned down closely to Naruto while rocking her hips slowly. And Anna PLPL please, Naruto said, only for Anna to put her finger over his mouth before dragging it down his chin, neck and chest. You, me, and something long and hard buried deep inside my waiting, Anna purred, with Naruto's entire face being bright red at her words and actions. Though Naruto's embarrassment soon turned to dread when Mana suddenly manifested and his door opened with Satsuki walking in. Naruto, are you alright? I felt your hair trade in, Sir, Mana said before stopping at seeing the position Naruto and her sister were in. Naruto, come on, breakfast is, said Satsuki, stopping as well when she saw what was happening. It's not what it looks like. Naruto said desperately, not wanting two angry girls attacking him. Oh, it definitely is, and we were about to have so much fun. Said Anna with a shameless smirk, much to Satsuki's and Mana's annoyance. Of course you two are more than welcome to join, I'm sure Naruto wouldn't mind having 3 sexy girls, especially twins. Anna added, licking her lips while looking Satsuki and Mana up and down, causing their annoyance to turn into embarrassment. Breakfast is ready and waiting. Satsuki said quickly before closing the door. We're going to have a long talk about personal space. Said Mana as she grabbed Anna and pulled her off of Naruto. Ooh, private time with big sis, naughty Mana. But all you needed to do was ask. Said Anna teasingly, much to her growing embarrassment before both girls vanished, leaving Naruto alone to try and calm down. Later. After calming down and getting dressed, Naruto went downstairs for breakfast, seeing Satsuki, Yugi and Kaiba already at the table before sitting down. With neither Naruto or Satsuki looking at each other as they ate, which Yugi and Kaiba both noticed, feeling the awkward atmosphere. Though the two figured that Anna must have done something again. Who do you think will try something first? Yugi asked quietly to Kaiba, wondering who'll make the first move, Satsuki or Mana, not counting Anna with how forward she already is with Naruto and doesn't bother hiding her intentions. Hard to say, they haven't tried yet so far. It may depend on which is pushed further with Anna's own advances. Said Kaiba, thinking that either of them could be the first to make a move, but believes it'd depend on who has enough of Anna's own advances on Naruto to try something. Later. Once they finished breakfast, Naruto headed out to travel through satellite with Satsuki going with him, along with Mana and Anna, manifested in their spirit forms alongside them. Though none of them said anything due to the morning events, leading to an awkward silence. With Satsuki and Mana both still being embarrassed, but also annoyed at Anna's advances towards Naruto. I think I'm gonna go see what else we can learn about this shadow duelist attacking gangs. I'll be right back, see you. Said Naruto before he quickly began walking away to see what rumors he'll be able to hear about the shadow duelist. The 3 girls watched him leave before turning to each other once he was out of sight. Okay, let's stop wasting time already. We all like Naruto, just admitted. Said Anna, wanting to get through with this now that they're alone together. Of course I like Naruto. He's my best friend and has been there for me my entire life. Even when I didn't deserve it, he still stuck by me no matter what I did or said. He still refused to give up on me. I care about him a lot. I really care about him more than anything. Satsuki said, stopping before she said she loved Naruto, not sure if she deserved to love him after everything she'd done. And you? Why do you love Naruto? Anna said, turning to Mana, who blushed at her sister, saying she loved Naruto. He's just so kind and bright all the time. Even after everything he went through, everything he lost, he still managed to keep pushing ahead and finding something to smile about. And he doesn't just treat his cards as tools or as just cards, he takes care of them and always enjoys talking with me. And I really like it, being able to talk with someone whenever I want, who wants to get to know me and cares about what I say. Yeah, I won't lie, I like and care for Naruto a great deal. I'm not sure if it's really love now, but I can definitely see myself falling for him. Said Mana, smiling at thinking of the time she and Naruto hung out and he asked her about herself. While having learned about his past due to Duel Spirit's connection with their duelists, they knew everything they did on top of their own knowledge. So Mana knew the truth about Naruto's and Satsuki's pasts, understanding why they didn't tell anyone, as well as having taken some liberties when they began remembering their past, since it is hard to believe. But it also made her feelings for the whiskered blonde all the more stronger. To know everything he went through, everything he lost, but still kept going. Yeah, he's definitely unique. At first I simply saw him as attractive and someone that'd hopefully use me in duels rather than keep me as a trophy. But then he actually gave me a name when he had no reason to, but still did it simply because I deserved to have my own name. And he didn't stop there, he still talked to me, wanted to know more about me. It was nice to have someone actually be interested in me rather than just my card. And I'm happy that Naruto was the one who found me. Ana said with a soft smile, touched at everything Naruto's done for her and never once asked for anything in return before she looked at Mana and Satsuki. Alright, since it's clear we all love Naruto and want to be with him, I say we share him. Since I doubt he'd choose just one of us knowing it'd hurt the other two and none of us would force him to make a choice, plus I'm sure that other girls will fall for him along the way, given how many hearts he's unknowingly broken back in the elemental nations. So instead, how about we share him, that way everyone's happy, especially Naruto for getting all three of us as well as anyone else that wishes to join. Said Ana with a sensual smirk, causing Mana and Satsuki to blush brightly at the idea of sharing Naruto, along with remembering Ana's offer this morning. And while the idea of sharing Naruto with other girls outside of the three of them wasn't all that appealing to Mana and Satsuki. They both knew that with Naruto's luck in unknowingly capturing women's hearts, it'll save them a lot of trouble. Though I'm confused, why haven't either of you made a move? Since I'm honestly surprised neither of you have tried jumping him already. What exactly is stopping you both? Ana asked, wondering why neither of them tried making a move before Naruto found her. I don't really know if Naruto even feels the same about me that I do him. And I don't want to make things awkward between us or ruin our friendship by telling him how I feel and he doesn't feel the same. Mana said while looking down, since she didn't want to lose Naruto's friendship and is fine just staying friends, even if she wanted more than that. I don't deserve to be with Naruto. After everything I've done, it's a miracle he even still considers me a friend. But I can at least stay out of his way and make sure he can find someone he deserves to be with, someone who hasn't betrayed him time after time like I have. Said Satsuki, feeling as though she lost her chance to be with Naruto after everything she'd done and can only hope he finds someone to trust and make him happy, even if it's hurt that it can't be her. With Ana looking at them blankly for a few moments before suddenly whacking them on the back of their heads with her wand. Making both girls flinch and rub their heads before looking at Ana in annoyance for the sudden attack. You're both really stupid, you know that. Do you honestly believe that Naruto would end your friendship just because you like him as more than friend? Or that he'd care if you told him, he'd still treat you exactly the same as he always had, probably even better so he doesn't hurt your feelings. And you, get over yourself right now. You said it yourself that Naruto stayed by your side no matter what and always supported you, that hasn't changed at all, and he'd stay by your side. Even if you tried running away again, you wouldn't even be able to force him to stay away from you. Said Ana, making both girls look at her in surprise, their surprise growing when Ana then held their hands in hers. Mana, even if you don't think it and you're annoyed by me, I do actually see you as a sister, someone I can tease and annoy as long as I want. Knowing the reaction I'll get and enjoy your frustration. But know that I'll always have your back, just like I hope you'll have mine. Ana said while smiling at Mana, much to her surprise. You really mean that? Mana asked, having thought Ana only did that knowing it annoyed her, but now hearing she genuinely saw her as a sister. Yes, I do. I know even if I'm just a copy and not a natural dual spirit, I do care about you. Replied Ana, with Mana looking at her before slowly smiling. You're more than just a copy, Ana, and even if you weren't born naturally, you're real to me. And truthfully it would be nice having a sister, especially one that keeps me on my toes like you. Said Mana before hugging Ana, which she happily returned before she turned towards Satsuki. The same goes for you, Satsuki. I may tease and annoy you, but I see you as a friend just like Naruto does. It doesn't matter what you did before or what happened, what matters is what you do now and that you want to be better. And you've already started to be better than ever before, which is exactly what Naruto wanted. Ana said while smiling at the Uchiha. I still made a lot of mistake, ones that I'll never be able to fix here. Satsuki stated, only to be pulled into a hug by Ana. Then stop worrying about the past, focus on the future and do what you can to make amends here. You do deserve a second chance, Satsuki, and you do deserve to be happy with the one you love. Said Ana as she looked at Mana and Satsuki. Both of you deserve the chance. I was serious when I said I don't mind sharing Naruto, since I wouldn't even think of making him choose me over any other girls that cares about him, knowing he wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So, do not even think about giving up on him. If you love Naruto as much as you both say you do, then you won't let anything stop you from being with him, got it? Ana said, with Satsuki and Mana feeling touched at her words and wanting them to be happy as well, even if that meant sharing Naruto. You know I'm really happy Naruto found you, Ana. Said Satsuki, smiling at the silverette, with Mana nodding in agreement. Yeah, I'm happy you're here as well, as our friend and as a sister. Mana said, with Ana nodding and smiling at them. Glad I could help, this also means I get to be the head girl. Ana said as her smile turned into a smirk, while Satsuki's and Mana's smiles immediately vanished. What the hell you are? Mana and Satsuki shouted in annoyance that she'd think they'd let her be the head girl. Why not? I'm the obvious choice, and Naruto has to take responsibility for seeing me naked. And since I helped you both, that means I get to be head girl to keep you in line. Said Ana with her smirk growing. Hell no. I've known him the longest, so I should be the head girl. He also took my first kiss, so he needs to take responsibility for that," said Satsuki, refusing to let anyone other than her be head girl, not without a fight. "Well, what about me? I know him better than either of you and feel everything he does, so I should be the head girl," Mana said, wanting to be the head girl for Naruto, especially since Satsuki had known him longer and Ana has made the most advances, so she wanted to have something as well. "Okay, it seems we all want to be head girl. Then how about this, I'll let either of you be the head girl if I get Naruto's first time in exchange," Ana said eagerly. "Hell no. Hell no." Satsuki and Mana both shouted immediately, now absolutely refusing to let Ana get Naruto's first time before them, with Ana merely smirking. "This is just too easy," thought Ana, loving the reaction she's getting out of them. Luckily before things could escalate, they stopped when they saw Naruto had returned. "Hey, I wasn't able to find out anything new besides what we already know," said Naruto, having not been able to find any new information on the shadow duelist. "It's fine, I'm sure we'll still be able to find something the more we explore and search," Satsuki replied, with Mana and Ana nodded in agreement. "You're probably right, they could also go underground for a while to let the rumors die down," Naruto stated, since the shadow duelist would probably want to avoid drawing too much attention to themselves. The group then continued on their way, with Satsuki walking noticeably closer to the whiskered blonde, with the same for Mana as she floated closer to him as well. All while Ana smirked at the sight, seeing they were taking her advice and not giving up and pursuing Naruto. Moving through the satellite, the group soon heard something that caught their attention, trading looks they headed towards the sound was coming from. Soon arriving, only to see a gang harassing a red-headed girl they didn't recognize. Though upon seeing the bag she was holding, they guessed she's new to satellite and seen as an easy target. When one of the gang members grabbed the girl's arm, Naruto and Satsuki moved to stop them, only to be surprised when the girl grabbed the gang member and flipped them over her shoulder, slamming them on the ground before throwing her foot out, kicking another gang member away when they charged at her. The girl then flipped over the first thug as two more rushed her, only to end up falling on top of each other once she kicked one of the gang members' legs out from under them. Though one gang member managed to sneak up behind the girl and grab her from behind, only to lose his grip when she threw her head back hard enough to break his nose. Before she turned and buried her fist in his stomach, making the thug gasp in pain, followed by slamming her knee up into his face. Soon enough, the girl had taken out the entire gang on her own until only the leader was left. "She's pretty good," Satsuki stated, seeing she knew how to handle herself, with Naruto nodding in agreement. "Yeah, if she duels as good as she fights, then I doubt there are many duelists who could beat her," said Naruto before they saw the leader pull out a duel disc, the former ninja interested to see what the girl was capable of. Meanwhile, Colin was less than pleased that she hasn't even been in satellite for an entire day and already has to deal with the thugs and criminals inhabiting the island, with the gang offering to show her around in exchange for her decks. But when she refused, they tried demanding she hand over her decks and go with them, which she'd refused again, leading them to simply try forcing her, only for her to show them how much of a mistake that was. "What? You saw that you losers can't beat me in a fight, now you think you can beat me in a duel?" Colin said upon seeing the leader pull out a duel disc. "What's the matter? Is the little girl too scared to lose a real fight?" the leader said tauntingly, making Colin raise a brow as she looked at his unconscious gang members. Before simply shaking her head and dropped her bag before pulling out her dual disc, with it now being a magenta color with silver trimming, and the gems were now purple. The blade was also now missing, only for half of the body to unfold like a flower, revealing the card zones which locked into place as the dual disc activated. "Fine, if you want to lose a duel first then be knocked out, I'm happy to oblige," said Colin, not minding the chance to further humiliate the gang leader. "Duel. Pay 4,000. Minus 4,000 lira. Ladies first," Colin said, drawing a card and adding it to her hand. "And I'll start by setting a monster face down in defense mode. Then I'll play the spell card, machinery deployment," said Colin, setting her monster face down before playing her spell. Machinery deployment. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Activate one of these effects. I discard one card. Add 2 Machina monsters with different names from each other from your deck to your hand. I discard 1 Machina card. Add 2 Machina cards with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, except Machinery deployment. You can only activate 1 Machinery deployment per turn. With Machinery deployment, I can discard 1 card to add 2 Machina monsters from my deck to my hand, or I can discard a Machina card to add 2 Machina cards to my hand. I'll be using the first effect, allowing me to bring 2 Machina monsters to my hand by discarding a card," said Colin, sending 1 card to the graveyard before looking through her deck for the 2 monsters she wanted. "Then I'll play another spell, Machina Armored Unit," Colin said, playing her second spell card. Machina armored unit. Card type. Continuous spell. Effect. Once per turn, when a machine monster is destroyed by battle and sent to your Jai. You can special summon one machine monster from your deck that has the same attribute and less ATK than that destroyed monster in the Jai. And with that I end my turn. Said Colin, ending her turn. PSK, and it'll be your last. The leader said, drawing a card and adding it to his hand, smirking eagerly at the card he had. I play the spell card Foolish Burial. Letting me send one monster from my deck to the graveyard. Said leader, playing his spell and sending a monster to the graveyard. Foolish Burial. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Send one monster from your deck to the Jai. But now I'll be able to special summon the monster I just discarded, Lucent, Netherlord of Dark World. The leader said as his monster appeared on the field. Lucent, Netherlord of Dark World. Attribute. Dark. Level. 6. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Fiend. Effect. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, special summon this card from the graveyard, then, if it was discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one fiend type monster from your deck to either side of the field. ATK 2400, Def 0. And because Lucent was special summoned, I can still summon out Braun, Mad King of Dark World. Said the leader, summoning out another monster. Braun, Mad King of Dark World. Attribute. Dark. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Fiend. Effect. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can discard one card. ATK 1800, Def 400. Now destroy her face down monster Lucent. Said the leader, with Lucent firing a blast of dark energy at Colin set monster, revealing it to be Machina Defender before it was destroyed. Machina Defender. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. Flip. Add one Commander Covington from your deck to your hand. ATK 1200, Def 1800. You may have destroyed my defender, but thanks to its ability I can add a Commander Covington from my deck to my hand. Said Colin, adding Commander Covington to her hand while the leader scoffed. Add all the worthless cards you want. It won't save your life points. Because now, Braun the leader said, only for Colin to cut him off. Honestly, are you really that foolish? In case you forgot, I have Machina armored unit on the field, which lets me special summon a machine monster anytime a machine monster I have on the field is destroyed, as long as it's the same attribute and has less attack points than the destroyed monster. And the monster I choose is Machina Cannon in defense mode. Colin said, summoning her monster to the field. Machina Cannon. Attribute. Earth. Level. 8. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. Cannot be normal summon set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by sending one or more other machine monsters from your hand to the Jai. Gains 800 ATK for each monster sent to the Jai for this special summon. ATK 0, Def 2200. Now then, I believe you were going to do something else stupid like attack me. Then by all means, go right ahead. Said Colin with a smirk while the leader grit his teeth in anger that his monster couldn't attack. I put 2 cards face down and end my turn. The leader said in annoyance, but knew he'd be able to attack again next turn. Good, then I can end this already. I've wasted enough time on you criminals and would prefer not wasting any more of it. Said Colin after drawing a card and adding it to her hand, seeing she had everything she needed to end this duel right now. First I'm going to play the spell card, Double Summon, letting me summon 2 monsters this turn. And I'm summoning my Machina Gearfram and Machina Sniper. Colin said, playing her spell before summoning her monsters to the field. Double Summon. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. You can conduct 2 normal summon sets this turn, not just one. Machina Gearfram. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can add one Machina monster from your deck to your hand, except Machina Gearfram. Once per turn, you can either target one machine monster you control, equip this card to that target, or unequip this card and special summon it. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, destroy this card instead. ATK 1800, Def 0. Machina Sniper. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. Monsters cannot attack Machina monsters, except Machina Sniper. ATK 1800, Def 800. And my Gearfram's ability lets me add another Machina monster to my hand. And the card I choose is Machina Resavenger, but it won't be staying in my hand as I'm activating its ability as well. By sending Resavenger to the graveyard, I can choose one Machina monster I have and they gain 1200 attack points the rest of this turn and I choose my Machina cannon," said Colin, sending Resavenger to the graveyard while her cannon grew stronger. Machina cannon. ATK 0, def 2200, ATK 1200, def 2200. Next up, I play the spell Twin Twister. By discarding another card from my hand I can destroy up to 2 spell or trap cards on the field," said Colin, playing her spell while the leader's eyes widened before 2 twisters appeared and destroyed his face downs. Twin Twisters. Card type. Quick play spell. Effect. Discard 1 card, then target up to 2 spells traps on the field. Destroy them. And with those out of the way, I just have one last card to play, Limiter Removal. Doubling the attack points of all machine monsters I have on the field," Colin said, with the leader now freaking out at how powerful her monsters were becoming. Limiter Removal. Card type. Quick play spell. Effect. Double the ATK of all machine monsters you currently control until the end of this turn. During the end phase of this turn, destroy those monsters. Machina Gearfrom. ATK 1800, def 0, ATK 3600 def 0. Machina Sniper. ATK 1800, def 800, ATK 3600, def 800. Machina Cannon. ATK 1200, def 2200, ATK 2400, def 2200. "This guy never stood a chance," Satsuki stated in amazement, impressed at Colin's moves, seeing she's already won the duel. "No kidding, I don't think she's even trying either," said Naruto, also impressed, along with now wanting to try dueling her himself to see what she can really do. "Now then, cannon take out his Mad King," said Colin, with Machina Cannon aiming its cannon at Braun before firing a powerful blast, destroying the monster, along with taking out some of the leader's life points. Minus 4,000 lira, 600 equals 3,400. Though when the blast continued forward and impacted the leader, Naruto's and Satsuki's eyes widened in shock as the thug cried out, having thrown back from the very real attack. "She's a psychic duelist." The former ninja thought in shock while looking at Colin, not expecting her to be a psychic duelist as well. What the hell was, said the leader, his earlier bravado completely gone, replaced by panic and fear at actually feeling the attack. "I'm not finished. Gearfrom destroy Lucent next," said Colin in frustration and annoyance at them trying to jump her, fully intending to show them why that was a mistake. With Gearfrom rushing forward and delivering a kick to Lucent, destroying the monster and continuing towards the leader with its attack, lowering his life points further. Minus 3,400 lira, 1,200 equals 2,200. "Now Machina Sniper, finish him off," Colin said, with Machina Sniper taking aim at the leader before firing a rocket out of its launcher at him, the rocket exploding at the leader's feet, sending him flying and wiping out the last of his life points. Minus 2,200 lira, 3,600 equals 0. "Damn, she really didn't hold back, did she?" stated Naruto, the Uchiha nodded in agreement before they tensed when Colin turned towards where they were hiding. "I know you're there. Come out now, before I get even more annoyed," Colin said, being able to sense she was being watched, the Redeed narrowing her eyes as Naruto and Satsuki stepped out from where they were. "Easy, we're not here to fight or anything. We just heard some noise coming from here and wanted to see what was happening, only to find you surrounded by these guys," said Satsuki while motioning to the unconscious gang members. "Then you'd be smart to get out of my sight unless you want to end up like them," retorted Colin, making the former ninja frown at her attitude and hostility. "You're from New Domino City, aren't you?" Naruto asked, guessing she must be from New Domino City, given the disdain she's showing to them, despite how they haven't done anything. "Got a problem with that? Or do you think I'm helpless against criminals just because I'm from the city?" Colin said, ready to take them down too, if they tried anything. "Relax, I already said we aren't here to hurt you. And maybe you could try acting a little nicer since, in case you can't tell, we don't have any criminal marks," Satsuki said in annoyance at her attitude. The Redeed narrowed her eyes at them and saw they weren't marked, but she still regarded them warily. "How about we just stay calm and talk rather than do anything reckless? I'm Naruto Uzumaki, this is my friend Satsuki Uchiha." "Who are you?" questioned Naruto, with Colin looking between them for a few moments and didn't see any hostility or ill intent. Colin Kamizuki," Colin introduced, relaxing a little, but still kept her guard up just in case. "It's nice to meet you, Colin. So, what exactly are you doing in the satellite anyway?" Naruto asked, wondering why Colin would come to the satellite, seeing as she didn't have a criminal mark, so she wasn't sentenced to work in the factories, meaning she must have come here willingly for some reason. Colin frowned at the question, not sure if she should answer or not. But so far, they're the only ones she's encountered that haven't tried robbing, assaulting or kidnapping her. And she'd prefer being able to find her sister as soon as possible. I'm looking for my sister Akiza, she disappeared nearly 2 years ago, and I've been looking for her ever since. I haven't had any luck finding her in New Domino City, so I came here, since this would be the best place to hide if you didn't want to be found. This is what she looks like. Colin explained before pulling out a picture of Akiza during their time at Duel Academy, with Naruto and Satsuki looking at the picture with a frown, thinking hard if they've ever seen her before or heard her name, only to shake their heads. Sorry, we haven't seen her before or heard of anyone that looked like her being seen either, said Satsuki, making Colin mentally curse that they didn't know anything. But we'd be willing to help you search for her if you need help. Naruto offered, the Ravenet nodding in agreement, much to Colin's shock that they'd offered to help her. Given everything she'd been told about the people in the satellite as they were nothing but thugs and delinquents, her encounter with the gang only reinforcing that belief. But now she's just met two satellators that haven't done anything to her, despite her hostility, and even offered to help her search for Akiza. Thanks for the offer, but I'm fine searching on my own, replied Colin, since while they weren't like how she imagined people from the satellite acting, that didn't mean she was going to risk it. Before the Redeed took her leave to continue her search, only to be annoyed when Naruto and Satsuki began following her. What are you doing? Colin demanded, annoyed that they were following her now. We're gonna help you, said Naruto with a grin on his face, making her eye twitch slightly. I already refused your offer. Following me isn't going to change my mind, so go away, said Colin, wanting them to leave her alone. Well, I'm refusing your refusal. So we're going to help you. Besides, from the rumors that are going around recently, things have gotten far more dangerous than usual here recently. So it'll be best to travel in numbers for the foreseeable future, Naruto said with his grin becoming cheeky before his attitude then turned serious, which only made Colin's eye twitch more as her annoyance grew. Thanks, but I can take care of myself just fine, Colin said, feeling as though they were underestimating her despite seeing how she took down those thugs and leader. We don't deny that and are sure you can take care of yourself, but it's best to be safe rather than sorry. Besides, it'd be best just let it go, you have no idea how stubborn he can be. Save yourself some trouble and just let us help, Satsuki said, knowing Naruto won't be dissuaded from helping her, having already decided they'd help and nothing would change his mind. Colin looked at the two with narrowed eyes for a few moments before, without warning, she immediately turned around and started running away from them. Thinking that it'd stop them from following her, Colin glanced back only for her eyes to widen at seeing Naruto and Satsuki chasing after her. Are you kidding me? Thought Colin, not thinking they'd actually chase after her, much less keep up with her, which made the Redeeds start running faster to escape them. Later, Colin had ran from Naruto and Satsuki as fast as she could, only for the former ninja to keep chasing after her, forcing the Redeed to find somewhere to hide. But no matter where she went, in a building, underground, a tunnel, even jumping in a pile of trash, they just kept finding her, seemingly appearing out of nowhere, much to her disbelief and annoyance. Leading to her having to run some more with both of them still keeping up. Even more annoying was that each time she hid somewhere, Naruto would keep asking her if she'd let them help her when he and Satsuki appeared. She never responded, only running again the moment they appeared. Why are you both so damn stubborn? Colin said while laying on a rooftop of an abandoned and partly run-down building, panting in exhaustion with Naruto and Satsuki lying beside her. We could say the same about you. Most would have given in after the first hour, but you just kept running for nearly 5 hours, said Satsuki, not expecting Colin to keep running for that long. So will you let us help now? Naruto asked, still grinning the entire time, making the Redeed groan as she sat up and looked at the two, though without her earlier wariness and hostility. Even they've been chasing her for several hours and haven't tried anything, only wanting to help her, Colin could see they really weren't like what she expected and seemed like they genuinely wanted to help. Alright. Since it seems no matter where I go, you'll keep chasing me, I'll accept your help. But only on the condition that you can beat me in a duel, said Colin, confident that she'll be able to win and finally get them to stop chasing her. Do we both have to beat you or just one of us? Satsuki asked as they stood up. Just one of you. And he has to duel me, since you're the more annoying between the two of you, Colin answered while narrowing her eyes at Naruto, swearing to find a way to get back at him. I'll take that as a compliment and I'm more than willing to duel you, Colin, Naruto replied eagerly, wanting to see what else Colin can do and seeing a chance to try out his Japanese folklore deck outside of practice duels. The Redeed nodded before they headed back down to the street, with Naruto and Colin both pulling out their duel discs and activated them. Duel. Then 4,000. Pay 4,000. Since you've already seen some of my deck, you can take the first move, Colin said, wanting to get a feel for Naruto's deck to plan out her moves. Alright, I draw then, said Naruto, drawing a card and adding it to his hand before grinning at seeing what he had. First I'm gonna summon Shiranui Squire. Naruto said, summoning his monster to the field, being a young woman wielding an ajinata covered in flames. Shiranui Squire. Attribute. Fire. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one Shiranui Spectral's Word monster from your hand or deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except zombie monsters. If this card is banished, you can draw one card, then discard one card. You can only use each effect of Shiranui Squire once per turn. ATK 1500, Def 0. And thanks to her ability, I can also special summon Shiranui Spectral's Word straight from my deck, said Naruto, pulling out a card from his deck before summoning a second monster, being a floating sword covered in blue flames. Shiranui Spectral's Word. Attribute. Fire. Level. 2. Card type. Effect tuner monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. If this card is in your Jai, except the turn this card was sent to the Jai, you can target one non-tuner zombie monster in your Jai. Banish both it and this card, and if you do, special summon one zombie synchro monster from your extra deck whose level equals the total levels those two monsters had. You can only use this effect of Shiranui Spectral's Word once per turn. ATK 800, Def 0. But neither of them will be staying around much longer because I'm tuning my level 2 Shiranui Spectral's Word with my level 4 Shiranui Squire. Soul of the Disciple, be reborn into this world anew and with your blade carry out your master's will. I synchro summon, Shiranui Squire Saga, said Naruto, much to Colin's shock that he's synchro summoning on his first turn. All Spectral's Word turned into two glowing rings which Squire flew into before they were engulfed in a swirl of flames that soon dispersed, revealing Shiranui Squire Saga. Shiranui Squire Saga. Attribute. Fire. Level. 6. Card type. Effect synchro monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters. You can only special summon Shiranui Squire Sagas once per turn. Once per turn. You can banish one face-up monster you control or in your Jai, then apply these effects in sequence, depending on what the monster was before it was banished, if it was any of these. I Zombie. You can have all monsters you control gain 300 ATK. I Fire. You can destroy one spell trap on the field. I Synchro. You can destroy one monster on the field. ATK 2100, Def 0. Then I'll set 3 cards face down and ending my turn, said Naruto, putting 3 cards down on the field and ending his turn. Then it's my draw, Colin said, drawing a card and adding it to her hand, looking at what she had carefully. Seeing how quickly Naruto brought out such a powerful monster and undoubtedly had traps set to deal with anything she tried doing, Colin knew she had to be careful. I'll start by summoning Machina Soldier, said Colin, summoning her monster to the field. Machina Soldier. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. When this card is normal summoned while you control no other monsters, you can special summon one Machina monster from your hand, except Machina Soldier. ATK 1600, Def 1500. And since he's the only monster I have out on the field, I can special summon another Machina monster. So say hello to my Machina Sniper again, said Colin, summoning her Machina Sniper that stood alongside her soldier. Next I'm equipping my sniper with Gravity Blaster, Colin said, equipping her sniper with the equip spell. Gravity Blaster. Card type. Equip spell. Effect. Equip only to a machine type monster. Once per turn. You can activate this effect. It permanently gains 400 ATK. This ATK gain remains even if this card leaves the field or if the monster becomes unaffected by card effects. If it battles an opponent's monster, that monster's effect is negated during the battle phase only. Thanks to this, now I can give my sniper a permanent 400 point boost and I'm using it right now, said Colin as Machina Sniper grew more powerful. Machina Sniper. ATK 1800, Def 800, ATK 2200, Def 800. You aren't the only one who can power up your monsters. I'm activating my Squirasaga's effect by banishing Shiranui Squire in the graveyard. I can have all monsters I control gain 300 attack points, said Naruto, banishing Squire from the graveyard while Squirasaga's attack went up. Shiranui Squirasaga. ATK 2100, Def 0, ATK 2400 Def 0. And with Shiranui Squire being banished, I'm allowed to draw a card, Naruto said before drawing a card and adding it to his hand. Colin frowned at this, having hoped to take out his monster, but now she had to wait until she could power up her sniper again, which could give Naruto a chance to destroy it. But this should keep him from outright attacking my monsters. And make sure he can't try synchro summoning again, thought Colin while looking at her hand. I'm activating the spell card, Kaiser Colosseum. With this, you won't be able to summon any monsters if they exceed the number of monster I have on my side of the field. Colin said, playing her spell as a Colosseum formed around her, Naruto, and Satsuki. Kaiser Colosseum. Card type. Continuous spell. Effect. If there is one or more monsters on the field of the controller of this card, his or her opponent cannot place a monster on the field if his or her number of monsters would exceed the number of monsters that are on the field of this card's controller. The cards that are already on the field before this card's activation are unaffected by this effect. Lastly, I play another spell card, Machine Assembly Line. Boosting all my machine monsters' attack points by 200. Said Colin, playing another spell card as an assembly line appeared on her field while her monsters grew stronger. Machine Assembly Line. Card type. Continuous spell. Effect. All machine-type monsters on the field gain 200 ATK. Each time a face-up machine-type monsters on the field is destroyed by battler card effect, place 2 junk counters on this card. You can send this card to the graveyard, then target one machine-type monster in your graveyard whose level is less than or equal to the number of junk counters that were on this card. Special summon that target. Machina Sniper. ATK 2200, Def 800, ATK 2400, Def 800. Machina Soldier. ATK 1600, Def 1500, ATK 1800, Def 800. But that I end my turn. Colin said, pleased at how she set up her field while Squirasaga's power returned to normal. Shiranui Squirasaga. ATK 2400, Def 0, ATK 2100 Def 0. I draw then. Said Naruto, drawing a card and adding it to his hand, looking at what he had and what Colin put on the field. And since it's your turn now, Gravity Blaster activates again, giving my sniper another boost. Said Colin with her Machina Sniper growing even stronger. Machina Sniper. ATK 2400, Def 800, ATK 2800, Def 800. I've gotta take out a Gravity Blaster, at least without that Machina Sniper won't keep getting stronger. Not to mention Kaiser Colosseum, so I'm not limited in the amount of monsters I can summon. Thought Naruto while looking at his cards before glancing at his Squirasaga. He could use her other effect to banish Spectral's Word in his graveyard to destroy Gravity Blaster, something he was hoping to avoid to use on a different spell trap Colin may have. Or to use Spectral's Word to synchro summon another monster. Though the Uzumaki was surprised when he felt his deck pulse slightly before Squirasaga seemed to look back at him and nod. The sight surprising Naruto a little, but knew the dual spirits from his deck must be trying to tell him do it. Alright, if you all think it's the move to make. Naruto thought. I'm activating Squirasaga's ability again, by banishing my Shiranui Spectral's Word, I can destroy one spell trap card on the field. And I'm choosing Gravity Blaster. Said Naruto as he removed Spectral's Word from the graveyard. While Squirasaga's Naginata was ignited with flames before she swung it at Gravity Blaster, unleashing a wave of flames that destroyed the card. Colin covered her face from the attack and wiped that her spell was gone. You may have destroyed Gravity Blaster, but my Machina Sniper's attack points are still the highest on the field. Even if you had any more monsters in the graveyard to banish, your Squirasaga still wouldn't be strong enough. Colin said, knowing that while her sniper can't grow any stronger, it's still the strongest monster on the field. I know, but my turn isn't over yet. Next I'm gonna play a card you're familiar with, Foolish Burial. Letting me send one monster from my deck to the graveyard. Said Naruto, playing the spell card before selecting the monster to send to the graveyard. Now I'm going to have Shiranui Squirasaga take out your Machina Soldier. Naruto said, with Squirasaga's Naginata igniting again, which she swung, releasing a wave of flames at Machina Soldier, destroying the monster and lowering Colin's life points. Colin 4,300 equals 3,700. Though with Machina Soldier destroyed, the conveyor belt turned on as 2 boxes of robot parts rolled out, with Machina Assembly Line gained 2 counters. Machine Assembly Line counters. 2. And I'll end my turn there. Said Naruto, making Colin narrow her eyes at him since he only destroyed her spell and monster, which now leaves him unable to summon any more monsters now that she only has one. Very well, I draw. Colin said, drawing a card and adding it to her hand. Here's another familiar monster, I'm summoning Machina Gearfrom. Said Colin, summoning her monster to the field, which grew stronger thanks to Machine Assembly Line. Machina Gearfrom. ATK 1800, Def 0, ATK 2000 Def 0. And with his ability, I can add another Machina monster from my deck straight to my hand, and the monster I'm adding I can also special summon them as well. Rise up, Machina Unclasper. Colin said, summoning another monster to the field, which looked like a black and corrupted version of Machina Sniper with a black and red aura around it, which intensified as it grew stronger as well. Machina Unclasper. Attribute. Dark. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can special summon it. Also you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn, except machine monsters. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Machina monster from your deck to the Jai, except Machina on Clasper. You can only use each effect of Machina on Clasper once per turn. ATK 1800, Def 800. Machina on Clasper. ATK 1800, Def 800, ATK 2000, Def 800. Unclasper has its own ability as well. When it's normal or special summoned, I can send another Machina monster from my deck to the graveyard, said Colin before sending a Machina monster to the graveyard. But now Machina Sniper will destroy your Shiranui Squirasaga, Colin said, with Machina Sniper aiming its launcher at Squirasaga before firing a rocket that impacted and destroyed the monster, lowering Naruto's life points. Then 4,700 equals 3,300. The whiskered blonde raised his arms, shielding himself from the attack, grunting slightly as some debris hit him from the explosion. Thanks for that, because now that I have no monsters on my field, I can play one of my face downs, Haunted Shrine, said Naruto, revealing one of his traps. Haunted Shrine. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. If you control no monsters, target one zombie monster in your Jai. Special summon it. If you control no monsters, you can banish this card from your Jai, then target one zombie monster in your Jai. Special summon it, but its effects are negated. You can only use one Haunted Shrine effect per turn, and only once that turn. But this, whenever I have no monsters on the field, I can special summon a zombie monster from my graveyard, so welcome back Shiranui Squirasaga, said Naruto as a spirit emerged from the card before turning into Squirasaga, much to Colin's annoyance. Well, good to know your monsters are as stubborn as you are and refuse to give up, Colin said, which Naruto merely grinned at. You haven't seen anything yet, though I'm sure the rest of your monsters are just as strong as you are, Colin, Naruto replied, making the Redeed roll her eyes. I'm putting 2 cards face down and ending my turn, said Colin while putting 2 cards face down on the field before ending her turn. My draw again, said Naruto, drawing a card and added it to his hand before smiling at seeing what he drew. I'm playing the spell, Card of Sanctity, letting us each draw until we have 6 cards in our hand, Naruto said, playing his spell card before he and Colin drew until they had 6 cards each. Card of Sanctity. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand. Seeing the new cards he had drawn, Naruto couldn't help but grin, knowing he had a way to turn this around, with Colin narrowing her eyes at the sight. What's he planning? Colin thought, feeling like he was planning something she wouldn't like. Next I play another spell card, Graceful Charity, letting me draw 3 more cards as long as I discard 2 from my hand, said Naruto, playing the spell before drawing 3 cards, then discarding 2 of them. Graceful Charity. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. And one of the cards I discarded was Mizuki, letting me use his ability. I can banish Mizuki from the graveyard, allowing me to special summon another zombie monster from my graveyard, and I'm choosing Crow Tengu, said Naruto, removing Mizuki from the graveyard, then summoning Crow Tengu to the field. Crow Tengu. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your Jai, or if this card is special summoned from the Jai, you can target one attack position monster your opponent controls. Destroy it. You can only use this effect of Crow Tengu once per turn. ATK 1400, Def 1200. And because Crow Tengu was special summoned from the graveyard, he can now destroy one of your monsters in attack mode. Say goodbye to Machina Sniper, said Naruto, making Colin's eyes widen at this before Crow Tengu flew towards her sniper, swinging his staff and destroying her monster, which also put 2 more counters on Machine Assembly Line. Machine Assembly Line counters. 4. Next up is another spell, Burial from a Different Dimension, letting me return up to 3 banished monsters back to the graveyard. And lucky for me, I have 3 banished monsters, Naruto said as he returned Mizuki, Shiranui Spectral Sword and Shiranui Squire to the graveyard. Burial from a Different Dimension. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Target up to 3 banished monsters. Return them to the graveyard. But I'll be banishing Shiranui Spectral Sword again to use my Squirasaga's ability, letting me destroy Kaiser Colosseum, said Naruto, banishing Spectral Sword again, with Squirasaga swinging her Naginata around her, unleashing a large amount of flames that destroyed the Colosseum. Then I'm using Mizuki's ability again as well, banishing it to bring back my Shiranui Squire, Naruto said, banishing Mizuki as well while Shiranui Squire reappeared on the field. Now then, I can still normal summon a monster and I'm choosing Shiranui Spirit Master," said Naruto, summoning his next monster to the field. Shiranui Spirit Master. Attribute. Fire. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one Shiranui monster from your hand or Jai except Shiranui Spirit Master but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is banished, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls. Destroy it. You can only use this effect of Shiranui Spirit Master once per turn. ATK 1500, Dev 0. And when Spirit Master is summoned, I can special summon another Shiranui monster from my hand or graveyard but banish it once it leaves the field. And from the graveyard I'm summoning Shiranui Spectral's Word Shade," said Naruto, summoning his monster to the field, causing Colin's eyes to widen. Shiranui Spectral's Word Shade. Attribute. Fire. Level. 2. Card type. Effect tuner monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. You can tribute this card, then target two of your banished zombie monsters, except Shiranui Spectral's Word Shade, including a Shiranui monster. Special summon them in defense position, but negate their effects. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except zombie monsters. You can only use this effect of Shiranui Spectral's Word Shade once per turn. ATK 800, Dev 0. What? When did you send that to the Colin said before remembering when Naruto sent 2 cards to the graveyard with graceful charity. You figured it out, I sent Shiranui Spectral's Word Shade to the grave along with Mizuki when I used graceful charity. But it won't be staying around as I'm using its ability to tribute Spectral's Word Shade to bring back 2 banished zombie monsters to the field in defense mode. So come back Shiranui Spectral Sword and Mizuki," said Naruto as he banished Spectral's Word Shade due to Spirit Master's effect, while Spectral's Word and Mizuki appeared on the field in defend mode. Mizuki. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Effect tuner monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. You can banish this card from your Jai, then target one zombie monster in your Jai. Special summon that target. ATK 1700, Def 800. Colin couldn't help but be shocked at how Naruto now had filled field of monsters, knowing what he was going to do now that he had a tuner again. Now then, I'm tuning my level 2 Shiranui Spectral's Word with my level 4 Mizuki. Warrior's spirit wandering the battlefield, now transcend with your sword in hand for the battles to come. I synchro summon Shiranui Samurasaga," said Naruto, with Spectral's Word turning into 2 rings which Mizuki flew through before turning into a swirling mass of spiritual energy that dispersed into Shiranui Samurasaga. Shiranui Samurasaga. Attribute. Fire. Level. 6. Card type. Effect synchro monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. 1 zombie type tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner zombie type monsters once per turn during either player's turn. You can target one of your banished zombie type monsters. Shuffle it into the deck and if you do, change to defense position all monsters your opponent controls with ATK less than or equal to that monsters. If this card is banished, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 500 ATK. You can only special summon Shiranui Samurasagas once per turn. ATK 2500, Dev 0. What do you think now Colin? Naruto said with a grin at having gotten 2 synchro monsters onto the field, something Colin couldn't help but be impressed with. I'll admit, you're definitely more skilled than most duelists I've faced, especially that loser I dueled earlier. But you still have to actually beat me," said Colin with a small smirk while the Uzumaki nodded. "And I intend to do just that. Samurasaga take out her Machina unclasper," said Naruto, with Samurasaga rushing forward with his sword to take out unclasper. "Don't celebrate just yet. Because I still have my face downs, I play Dimensional Prison," Colin said, revealing one of her face downs. Dimensional Prison. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target that attacking monster. Banish that target. Looks like Samurasaga won't be sticking around for very long either, as Dimensional Prison banishes one of your monsters when it attacks one of my own," said Colin with a smirk as a portal opened in front of Samurasaga who couldn't stop as he fell through, only to see Naruto was smirking as well. "Thanks for that, as when Samurasaga is banished, he can target one of your monsters and they lose 500 attack points. So even if Unclasper isn't destroyed yet, it'll still be weakened," Naruto said as a spectral image of Samurasaga appeared and slashed Machina Unclasper before dispersing, weakening it. Machina Unclasper. ATK 2000, Def 800, ATK 1500, Def 800. And my Squirasaga is still around to attack. Go Squirasaga, take out Machina Unclasper," said Naruto, with Squirasaga rushing forward with her flaming Naginata before slashing it at Unclasper and destroying it, lowering Colin's life points, with Machina assembly line getting 2 more counters. A 3700, 600 equals 3100. Machine assembly line counters. 6. And with that, I'll be ending my turn there. Naruto said as he entered his end phase. Then it's my draw. Colin said, drawing a card and adding it to her hand, pleased at what she had. Alright, I'm discarding my Machina Air Raider in order to special summon Machina Fortress. Said Colin, discarding Machina Air Raider before a giant blue mecha tank appeared on her field, growing stronger thanks to Machina assembly line. Machina Fortress. Attribute. Earth. Level. 7. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. You can discard machine monsters whose total levels equal 8 or more, then special summon this card from your hand or Jai. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the Jai, target one card your opponent controls. Destroy that target. Before resolving an opponent's monster effect that targets this face-up card, look at your opponent's hand and discard one card from their hand. ATK 2500, Def 1600. Machina Fortress. ATK 2500, Def 1600, ATK 2700, Def 1600. Next I'm gonna activate my face-down Machina Overdrive. Said Colin, playing her face-down card. Machina Overdrive. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. Target one machine monster you control. Special summon one Machina monster with a different name from your hand or deck, and if you do, destroy that targeted monster. You can banish this card from your Jai, then target 3 of your machine monsters that are banished and/or in your Jai. Shuffle them into your deck, then draw one card. You can only use one Machina Overdrive effect per turn, and only once that turn. With this, I can target one machine monster I control to special summon one Machina monster from my hand or deck. So say goodbye to Machina Gearfram and hello to Machina Citadel. Colin said as Gearfram vanished and a gigantic blue mech walking on 3 tread-like legs appeared alongside Fortress. Machina Citadel. Attribute. Earth. Level. 10. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. Cannot be normal summon set. Must be special summoned by a card effect. Quick effect. You can target one machine monster you control. Destroy that machine monster and all monsters your opponent controls with ATK less than or equal to it. If a face-up earth machine monsters you control, except Machina Citadel, is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your Jai, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Machina Citadel once per turn. ATK 3000, Def 2500. Machina Citadel. ATK 3000, Def 2500, ATK 3200, Def 2500. Oh shit. Naruto muttered in shock at how Colin managed to summon out 2 powerful monsters, ones that are much stronger than any he had out. Ooh definitely, and since Gearfram was destroyed by a card effect, machine assembly line gains 2 more counters. Said Colin with a smirk at regaining the advantage. Machine assembly line counters. 8. Maybe, but I'm using the effect of Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. If you've special summoned a monster during the main or battle phase, I can discard Ghost Sister to gain life points equal to that monster's attack points, and the monster I choose is Machina Citadel. Said Naruto, discarding Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood, relieved at the large amount of life points he received. Then 3300 plus 3200 equals 6500. Then by banishing Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood, I can use Shiranui Squirasaga's effect to give all my monsters an extra 300 attack points. Naruto said, banishing Ghost Sister while all his monsters grew stronger. Shiranui Squirasaga. ATK 2100, Def 0, ATK 2400 Def 0. Protengu. ATK 1400, Def 1200, ATK 1700, Def 1200. Shiranui Spirit Master. ATK 1500, Def 0, ATK 1800 Def 0. Shiranui Squire. ATK 1500, Def 1600, ATK 1800 Def 0. Colin frowned at this, knowing with all those life points it'll take even longer to defeat Naruto, plus Shiranui Squirasaga's effect now lessened the amount of damage she'll be able to inflict. Better take care of Squirasaga so he can't use its ability again. Thought Colin, not wanting him to be able to destroy any of her cards. Machina Citadel take out Shiranui Squirasaga. Colin said, with Machina Citadel aiming its arm cannon at Squirasaga before firing a blast that vaporized the monster, with Naruto raising his arms to shield himself from the blast while his life points took a hit. Then 6500, 800 equals 5700. Now your turn Machina Fortress, destroy Crow Tengu. said Colin, with Machina Fortress rolling forward before firing a blast that destroyed Crow Tengu, along with blowing Naruto back from the force as he took a lot of damage to his life points. Then 5700, 1000 equals 4700. Colin looked at Naruto lying on the ground, wondering if he'll give up now that she has some of her most powerful monsters on the field. Knowing he should be lucky it's only Citadel and Fortress she had out at the moment, otherwise he'd be in a lot worse shape. Only to be surprised when the whiskered blonde began laughing as he sat up, with a grin on his face. "Man Colin, you're even better than I imagined. I really thought I had you for a moment, then you go and bring out two powerful monsters like that. This is one of the greatest duels ever." Naruto said as he stood up, much to Colin's disbelief that he's actually enjoying himself despite her attacks. Looking at Satsuki for an explanation, the Ravenette merely smiled and shook her head, which only confused Colin further. "I guess so. I'll set one card face down and end my turn," said Colin, setting a card face down and ending her turn, while Naruto's monster's attack points returned to normal. Shiranui Spirit Master. ATK 1800, Def 0, ATK 1500 Def 0. Shiranui Squire. ATK 1800, Def 0, ATK 1500 Def 0. "Back to me then. I draw," said Naruto, moving to draw a card, only to freeze when he felt another pulse from his deck. "Is that," Naruto thought, looking at his deck before drawing the top card, his eyes widening at what he drew before he gained a downcast expression, something Colin and Satsuki noticed, with the Uchiha having a feeling what card he must have drawn. "Is something wrong?" Colin asked, with Naruto shaking his head and adding the card to his hand. "No, sorry about that, just remembered something," Naruto replied, looking at his hand, only to realize the cards he had in his hand and what he could do with them. "First up I'm summoning Daki, the graceful Mayakashi," said Naruto, summoning Daki to the field. "Daki, the graceful Mayakashi. Attribute: Fire. Level: 2. Card type: Effect Tuner Monster. Monster type: Zombie. Effect: You can only control one Daki, the graceful Mayakashi. When a Mayakashi monsters is special summoned to your field from the extra deck while this card is in the Jai, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except Mayakashi monsters. ATK 1000, Dev 0. Then I'm equipping Daki with Synchro Booster, giving her an extra 500 attack points and increasing her level by 1," said Naruto, equipping Daki with the equip spell as a blue aura surrounded her. Synchro Booster. Card type: Equip spell. Effect: The equipped monster gains 500 ATK and its level is increased by 1. Daki, the graceful Mayakashi. Level: 2, 3. ATK 1000, Def 0, ATK 1500 Def 0. He's planning to synchro summon again. Colin thought, knowing he's going to synchro summon with a move like that. "Now I tribute my Shiranui Spirit Master and Shiranui Squire to special summon Nine-Tailed Fox," said Naruto as Spirit Master and Squire burst into blue flames which soon gathered together and started growing. Until they eventually dispersed, revealing a large white nine-tailed fox with red fur on the tips of its tail, feet, ears, red streaks across its back and red markings on its face, with the fox letting out a loud roar. Nine-tailed fox. Attribute: Fire. Level: 6. Card type: Effect Monster. Monster type: Zombie. Effect: If this card is in your hand or Jai, you can tribute 2 monsters. Special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Nine-Tailed Fox once per turn. If this card that was special summoned from the Jai attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the Jai, you can special summon 2 Fox tokens, Zombie Fire level 2 ATK 500 Def 500. ATK 2200, Def 2000. Naruto looked at Nine-Tailed Fox sadly, not believing there was actually a card like it made, but he's also thankful it existed to remind him of Kurama. Naruto. Satsuki thought sadly, knowing what he was feeling after summoning Nine-Tailed Fox, the card having become one of his favorites since he found it. "Next I'm gonna play the spell card Synchronized Realm. Now every time I synchro summon, you'll take 500 points of damage," said Naruto playing his spell. Synchronized Realm. Card type: Continuous spell. Effect: Each time you synchro summon a synchro monster, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Naruto then looked at Daki and Nine-Tailed Fox, knowing everything was set up, with the 2 monsters looking towards Naruto and merely nodded, urging him to keep going. The Uzumaki returning the nod before taking a deep breath. "Alright, I tune my level 3 Daki, the graceful Mayakashi with my level 6 Nine-Tailed Fox," said Naruto, with Daki turning into 3 rings that flew up into the air, while a 9-tailed fox ran forward before leaping into the air between the rings, being consumed by a bright light as they merged together. Spirits of forgotten souls long past, I call upon you to strike down my enemy with your mystic flames. I synchro summon. Rise up Yugioh, the graceful Meikashi. Naruto chanted as a large eruption of blue flames emerged from the light. Before the flames were dispersed, revealing a bipedal 9-tailed fox wearing intricate white kimono robes and holding a blue fireball between its hands. Yugioh, the graceful Meikashi. Attribute. Fire. Level. 9. Card type. Effect Synchro Monster. Monster type. Zombie. Effect. 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters, you can only control 1 Yugioh, the graceful Meikashi. You can only use each of these effects of Yugioh, the graceful Meikashi once per turn. If a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 11 is destroyed by battler and opponent's card effect while this card is in the Jai. You can banish one other zombie monster from your Jai, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the Jai. You can destroy one monster your opponent controls. ATK 2900, Def 2400. And thanks to Synchronized Realm you take 500 points of damage. Said Naruto, with Yugioh launching a blue fireball at Colin, the attack impacting the girl and throwing her back. A3100, 500 equals 2600. Now I'm playing the spell card Zombie Power Struggle. With this, my Yugioh gains an extra 1000 attack points. Said Naruto, playing his spell, while Yoko's power grew even greater as Colin's eyes widened as she got up from the attack. Zombie Power Struggle. Card type. Quick play spell. Effect. Target 1 zombie monster on the field. Until the end of this turn, it gains 1000 ATK or loses 1000 ATK. During your main phase, if this card is in your Jai. You can shuffle one of your banished zombie monsters into the deck and if you do, set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Zombie Power Struggle once per turn. Yugioh, the graceful Meikashi. ATK 2900, Def 2400, ATK 3900, Def 2400. Now attack her Machina Citadel. Naruto said, with Yugioh leaping into the air and surrounded itself with several blue fireballs which it launched at Machina Citadel damaging it until the final fireball impacted its chest, causing the mech to explode, lowering Colin's life points even further. A2600, 900 equals 1700. With machine assembly line having 2 more counters added onto it. Machine assembly line counters. 10. Finally, I'm playing the spell card, Dainkido the Curse Master, giving 1000 life points. Said Naruto, playing his spell and regained some life points. Dainkido the Cure Master. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Increase your life points by 1000 points. Then 4700, 1000 equals 5700. Now I set one card face down and end my turn there. Said Naruto, setting a card face down, while Colin panted from the attack as Yoko's attack points returned to normal. Yugioh, the graceful Meikashi. ATK 3900, Def 2400, ATK 2900, Def 2400. But that was one of my most powerful monsters and you actually destroyed it. That was really amazing actually. I can't even remember the last time someone got past Citadel. Colin said as a smile slowly appeared on her face, which Naruto returned. Thanks, and I'm just glad I had the right cards to bring out Yugioh, it's one of my best and favorite monsters, so I knew it wouldn't let me down. Naruto replied, smiling at Colin before turning to Yugioh, glad he was able to summon it. I can see why, it's definitely an impressive monster. But now it's my turn. Said Colin, drawing a card and adding it to her hand, unable to help but smirk at the card she had. You should feel honored now, since I don't remember the last time anyone pushed me far enough to bring out this monster. I play my own graceful charity, letting me draw 3 cards as long as I discard 2 from my hand. Said Colin, drawing 3 cards before sending 2 to the graveyard, only for her eyes to widen at the card she drew not expecting to draw them as well. Something the matter Colin? Naruto asked upon seeing her expression, with Ariti quickly shaking her head. And no, and nothing's wrong. Anyway, I now banish my Machina Unclasper, along with the 2 monsters I just discarded, Machina Resavenger and Machina Possesturge. By banishing these monsters, I can special summon a monster like no other. Said Colin, banishing the 3 monsters before spectral images of them appeared before transforming into dark energy. Machine trio dipped in darkness, become the war machine that lays waste to all who stand before me. Come forth, Machinaru Inverse. Colin chanted as the ground began shaking before bursting open, while Naruto and Satsuki looked in shocked as truly massive mech appeared that looked like a combination of Unclasper, Resavenger, and Possesturge, with it only becoming more powerful thanks to machine assembly line. Machinaru Inverse. Attribute. Earth. Level. 10. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Machine. Effect. Cannot be normal summon set. Must be special summoned from your yugioh by banishing machine monsters from your yugioh whose total levels equal 12 or more. When your opponent activates a card or effect during the battle phase, quick effect. You can pay half your LP. Negate the activation, and if you do, have your opponent's LP. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon up to 3 of your banished machina monsters whose total levels equal 12 or less. You can only use each of the following effects of machina reinforce once per turn. ATK 4600, Def 4100. Machina Citadel. ATK 4600, Def 4100, ATK 4800, Def 4100. Now that is a monster. Naruto said in shock and disbelief to see such a powerful monster. Fuck. Muttered Satsuki in agreement, not thinking anyone would have a card this powerful. I can't remember the last time anyone pushed me enough to bring out reinforce, I only summon it for special occasions. And I think you've earned the right to see me at my best, right before I win. Said Colin with a smirk, doubting he has anything capable of taking out a reinforce, especially with its ability. Now, Machina reinforce take out Yoko, the graceful Mayakashi. Colin said, with reinforce aiming all its guns right at Yoko. Not so fast. I'm playing my face down double pass. Letting me save Yoko from being destroyed and change your attack to a direct one. Naruto said, revealing one of his face downs. Double pass. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. Activate when your opponent attacks a face-up attack position monster you control. It becomes a direct attack. Then, the monster originally selected as the attack target attacks your opponent directly. Sorry, but that's not happening. Because my Machina reinforce has a special ability, by having my life points I can negate the activation of any card or effect you use, then I can have your life points. Said Colin with her smirk growing, knowing she's now won the duel. Don't forget my other face downs. I play chain hole. Said Naruto, causing Colin's eyes to widen in shock. Chain hole. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect in response to the activation of a card or effect, negate that effect, and if you do, your opponent can banish one card from their hand or deck with the same name as the negated card. Otherwise you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand. With this I can negate your reinforce's ability and keep it from negating my double pass, along with banish a random card from your hand, and I choose the one second to the right. Said Naruto, the redeed removing the selected card, not believing he managed to negate reinforce's ability, but also confused as to why he negated, as now he'd take the attack head on. Colin flinching slightly as reinforce aimed at Naruto fired right at the Uzumaki, with Naruto resisting the urge to scream in pain as he was thrown back by the blast while his life points took a large hit. Naruto. Satsuki exclaimed in fear and concern at seeing him get hit by the blast, having to stop herself from rushing onto the duel field to check on him. Then 5700, 4800 equals 900. Why would you do that? Colin asked in disbelief that he'd let himself take a hit like that when it would have been softened if he had let his monster be destroyed, only to wince at seeing the state Naruto was now in. His clothes were torn and damaged, exposing part of his torso and arms, while seeing that they along with parts of his face were bruised and cut up. Because Yoko and Nine-Tailed Fox they both remind me of someone I knew, a friend I knew my entire life. And if I can keep them safe I'll gladly take any attack. Said Naruto as he struggled to stand up after the attack while wiping away some blood that nearly got in his eye, but managed to do so but was panting heavily while Colin looked at him with wide eyes. "I remind you of someone?" said Colin, with Naruto nodding as he returned to where he was standing. "Yeah, they do, and I'll do anything to make sure they aren't destroyed, not if I can help it." Naruto replied, making the Redeed's expression soften as she looked at the cards in her hand, specifically the one she drew with graceful charity. "But it helps that with double pass, Yoko can now attack you directly," added Naruto, causing Colin's eyes to widen as Yoko launched a fireball at her. "I activate my face down damage died. Having the damage I'd take," Colin said as she quickly activated her face down. Damage died. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. Have all damage you take this turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Have all effect damage you take this turn. You cannot have the same damage twice with this effect. Gritting her teeth as the fireball still struck her, Colin was glad she was at least able to avoid taking the full brunt of the attack, even as her life points took a hit. Pay 1700, 1450 equals 250. Panting heavily from the attack, Colin looked up at Naruto in surprise and amazement at how close he came to beating her. Along with his refusal to let Yoko be destroyed, even with how powerful her reinforce is, he still willingly let himself be hit by it. "You must really care about this, friend." Colin stated, with Naruto smiling sadly and looked up. Yeah, we actually didn't get along at first, we didn't even want anything to do with each other. But eventually I started to understand them, and I'm sure you know by now I can be pretty stubborn, and eventually I was able to earn their respect and friendship. But they're gone now. Replied Naruto, thinking about Kurama and all their time together, making Colin look at him before turning to Satsuki to see the sad expression on her face as well. Looking down at her cards, Colin frowned sadly at what she had before looking up at Naruto. I know the feeling of having a card that reminds you of someone and don't want anything to happen to it. And I never did normal summon this turn either. Said Colin, wanting them to see the card she cherishes the most. I'd be glad to see it brought out. Naruto said, with Colin nodding in response. Alright, here it comes. I'll start by playing double summon to let me summon 2 monsters at once. Colin said, playing her spell card. And the 2 monsters I'll be summoning are Blue Rose Dragon and Red Rose Dragon. Said Colin, summoning her 2 dragons to the field, surprising Naruto and Satsuki at the non-machine monsters. Blue Rose Dragon. Attribute. Dark. Level. 4. Card type. Effect monster. Monster type. Dragon. Effect. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the Jai. You can target 1 Black Rose Dragon or 1 plant monster in your Jai. Special summon that monster. ATK 1600, Def 1200. Red Rose Dragon. Attribute. Dark. Level. 3. Card type. Effect tuner monster. Monster type. Dragon. Effect. If this card is sent to the Jai as synchro material. You can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck, except Red Rose Dragon, then, if it was sent for the synchro summon of Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster, you can also add 1 Frozen Rose or 1 Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Red Rose Dragon once per turn. ATK 1000, Def 1800. Now I tune my level 3 Red Rose Dragon with my level 4 Blue Rose Dragon. Said Colin, with Red Rose Dragon flying into the air and transforming into 3 rings which Blue Rose Dragon flew into. Naruto and Satsuki raised their arms to shield themselves as powerful winds began blowing around them, while a pillar of light erupted from behind Colin, with black and red rose petals flying out of it. Duel Dragon born of fire and earth come forth blessed by the light. I synchro summon. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. Colin chanted, as 2 large wings made of rose petals emerged from the pillar before the light vanished, revealing Black Rose Moonlight Dragon in all its glory, the dragon roaring loudly as it landed behind Colin. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. Attribute. Light. Level. 7. Card type. Effect synchro monster. Monster type. Dragon. Effect. 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters if this card is special summoned or a level 5 or higher monsters is special summoned to your opponent's field. Target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls. Return that target to the hand. You can only use this effect of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon once per turn. ATK 2400, Def 1800. Wow, it's amazing Colin. Said Naruto in awe at the sight of the dragon, having never seen a monster like it before. Yeah, we can see why you love it so much. It's beautiful. Satsuki said, just as amazed by the dragon, with Colin smiling at their words. Thank you, but that's not why I love it. Replied Colin looking up at Moonlight Dragon, who looked down at her. This dragon there are only 2 like it and when I saw them, they reminded me of me and my sister Akiza. 2 unique twins that were always together and looked out for each other, possessing great power others were afraid of. It's why I got them, I kept Moonlight Dragon and gave Black Rose Dragon to Akiza. Ever since then I've always made sure to have it in my extra deck to always know I have my sister with me. And after she disappeared, I only cherished it even more, to always know that Akiza's still with me, and that I will find her one day, no matter how long it takes. Colin explained, making Naruto and Satsuki look at her in surprise and understanding. Which is also why I refuse to ever lose, to let anything stop me from finding Akiza, and that's why I intend to win this duel. I activate Moonlight Dragon's ability, when it's summoned to the field I can return 1 special summoned monster on your field back to your hand. Go, Rose Requiem. Said Colin, with Black Rose Moonlight Dragon roaring before unleashing a massive twister of rose petals at Yoko. Only for her eyes to widen when the twister dispersed and Yoko wasn't removed from the field, even more so as her dragon went into defense mode. I play my face down memory loss not only negating your dragon's effect but also forcing it into defense mode. Naruto said, revealing his last face down, much to Colin's shock. Memory loss. Card type. Normal trap. Effect. When a face-up attack position monster your opponent controls just activated an effect, except during the damage step. Negate that effect and if you do, change that monster to face-up defense position. Just like how you care for Moonlight Dragon and what it represents, I care the same for Yoko and refuse to lose it. Stated Naruto, with Colin looking at him with wide eyes, realizing what just happened. I lost. Thought Colin, looking at her hand but didn't see any card she could use to turn this around, while all Naruto needed to do was attack her Machina fortress. But strangely Colin wasn't as upset as she thought she would be, instead she actually began smiling at how hard she tried to win, with Naruto having done the same. She actually had fun dueling against Naruto, being pushed to her limits against an opponent. In fact, Colin could hardly remember the last time she dueled for fun, outside of the times she and Akiza would duel each other. But at some point, dueling just became something she used as a means to defend and, later on, find her sister. Now though, Colin realized that she actually had fun in a duel again. Naruto, this was actually really fun. I don't even remember the last time I had fun during a duel. Colin said while smiling brightly, which Naruto returned. It's been fun for me too, Colin. You're definitely one of the strongest duelists I've gone against and I hope that we can duel each other again. Replied Naruto, with Colin nodding in agreement. Definitely. But right now, I end my turn. Said Colin, not feeling upset or disappointed at what'll happen next. And I draw. Naruto said, drawing a card and adding it to his hand. I play Mystical Space Typhoon, destroying your machine assembly line. Said Naruto, playing his spell card while machine assembly line was destroyed, returning Colin's machine monster's attack points to normal. Mystical Space Typhoon. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Target one spell trap on the field. Destroy that target. Machina Fortress. ATK 2700, Def 1600, ATK 2500, Def 1600. Machina Citadel. ATK 4800, Def 4100, ATK 4600, Def 4100. Alright now, Yoko, the graceful Mayakashi, take out Machina Fortress and end this. Said Naruto, with Yoko rushing forward, forming a large blue fireball which it launched right at Machina Fortress, blasting right through the machine and taking out the last of Colin's life points. A250, 400 equals 0. The moment their monsters vanished, Naruto and Colin fell back onto the ground, panting in exhaustion from the duel before they both started laughing. That was one of the best duels I've ever had. Colin said, feeling as if a weight had been lifted off her shoulders, feeling more relaxed than she has in years. I know. I honestly wasn't sure if I'd be able to pull through at the end, you're really strong Colin. We'll really need to duel again, but I'm gonna be using my other deck to see how it does against you. Said Naruto while managing to sit up, with Colin doing the same, both of them grinning at each other. We're absolutely dueling again. And you aren't the only one with other decks, you may be able to handle my machinas, but we'll see you handle the rest of my machines. Colin replied, eager to see how Naruto does against her other decks. Don't forget me, there's no way I'm passing up the chance to duel you Colin. Said Satsuki, walking over and helping both of them stand up. Definitely Satsuki. If you're as strong as Naruto, then I can't wait to duel you too. Said Colin as she nodded in agreement, wanting to also see what Satsuki can do as well. Great. And since Naruto won the duel, does that mean you'll let us help you search for Akiza? Satsuki asked, only to see the surprised looks on Naruto's and Colin's faces, the two having forgotten about the bet partway through the duel when things started getting more intense, before the Retid smiled and nodded. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to have you both helping me. And you know, even if I won I'd still want you both to help me. Colin said, unable to see them in a bad light like she initially did or even be annoyed. Meanwhile, Mana and Anna had been watching the duel from above, amazed at what they saw and the power Naruto and Colin both released along with their monsters. While having let out a breath in relief and seeing that Naruto was able to tank Ruinforce's attack while having immediately casted some healing spells on him since he no longer had a healing factor. Though Anna soon gained a sly smirk as she watched the interaction between the trio. Well, that was certainly an amazing duel to witness, too bad Naruto didn't use us. But now that it's over, what do you think of Colin, sis? She certainly seems very happy around Naruto, don't you think? Said Anna, with Mana giving her a dry look. I just started opening up to the idea of sharing Naruto with you and Satsuki, as well as being aware that sooner or later other girls will gain an interest in him. It's going to take a while before I'm actually okay with other girls joining. Mana replied since she knew and trusted Satsuki and Anna, it'd be a while before she's okay with other girls joining. Though suddenly, the two dual spirits tensed and looked up at one of the buildings, only to see nothing there, much to their confusion. Did you see anything just now? Questioned Mana while looking at her sister, who nodded slowly. I thought I did. But there's nothing there and I don't sense anything. Replied Anna, making them trade a look, wondering if they were just seeing things. Before they saw Naruto, Satsuki and Colin walking away, making them shake their heads and flew after them. Unknown to them, up on the roof, Vanitas was practically vibrating in excitement and eagerness while watching Naruto, Satsuki, and Colin. Knowing he's just found his newest targets, ones that will finally give him the challenge he craves. So, what did you think? Good. Yep, we see the appearance of Colin as Akiza's twin sister, showing several flashbacks of them growing up and how Colin was the only one who stuck by Akiza's side when she awakened her psychic powers and Mark of the Dragon, along with being the one to give Akiza Black Rose Dragon, since we don't when or how Akiza got the card, as well as Colin getting Black Rose Moonlight Dragon and sharing Akiza's Mark of the Dragon due to them being twins. Before we then see a mysterious duelist massacring a gang in Satellite with a special card, along with another flashback showing it's Vanitas who was unintentionally created by Roman after throwing a card into the underworld portal under the original Energy reactor. Then we go to Yusei's hideout where Yusei and Kaiba are working on the duel runner, while Naruto and Yugi are having a duel, which the latter wins before Satsuki arrives with lunch. Then another flashback showing Yusei and his friends meeting Yugi and Kaiba, as well as learning the truth about where he came from and his father helping create the Energy reactor, while in the present the group hear rumors of a shadow duelist taking out gangs in the Satellite. Knowing they'll have to be on their toes. Before going to the next day with Naruto waking up in bed with Anna, fully materialized and naked, much to his embarrassment and Satsuki's and Mana's annoyance, leading to an awkward breakfast before they head out, with Anna confronting Mana and Satsuki about their feelings for Naruto, suggesting they share him along with showing she genuinely cares about both of them, right before she goes back to teasing them. Next we see Naruto and Satsuki encountering Colin being jumped by a gang, only for them to be taken out, while Colin makes short work of the leader in a duel, before calling out Naruto and Satsuki, leading to a short confrontation between them, learning why Colin's in Satellite, and offers to help her find Akiza which she rejects, only to learn how stubborn Naruto and Satsuki can be. Finally we have a duel between Naruto and Colin, with it being pretty tough for both of them, but also leads to them bonding as Naruto comes out the winner, while Colin also remembers what it's like to have fun in dueling. Though unknown to them, Vanitas also saw their duel and now has his sight set on them. So, for those that like the story, thanks for your support. For those that don't or at least don't like the direction taken, you're more than welcome to drop the story. But thanks for giving the story a chance anyway. Storm out. What if Naruto x Dark Magician Girl Yugioh end here and thanks for watching my video till the end.